Chicago's Cook County Jail is one of the largest and most notorious jails in the United States. Home to around 6,000 inmates, many of whom are heavily gang affiliated, this is a massive correctional facility that has incarcerated some of Chicago's most infamous criminals like Al Capone, John Wayne Gacy, Larry Hoover, and King Von. Currently behind the barbed wire walls, Cook County sheriffs are battling against a serious and invisible drug epidemic called paper strips. What happens is smugglers take harmless looking items like books, court documents, or family photos, and they soak them with synthetic chemicals ranging from cannabinoids to fentanyl, some of which are lethal and lead to overdose deaths. So today, Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart invites me in to show me how his team of officers fight against this problem. And we even see a raid on a high security cell block that uncovers drugs and homemade shanks. So join us now, but first a quick word from the sponsor of today's episode. All right, folks, I'm sitting at the airport about to board a flight, and I got some time on my hands, and I'm always looking for ways to make a little extra money, and I think you might be too. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video, Free Cash. So I pop it right open, and first thing I see is Dice Dreams. So I'm gonna click the offer, start playing these games, and as you level up, you start making some money. This is not gonna retire you. This is just a little extra change on the side to help you in your life. And to think that you can get paid for playing games, I mean, it seems like a slam dunk if you have extra time on your hands. And when you wanna cash out, you click your money and you can get cash out through PayPal, Venmo, or even through Amazon gift cards. So basically you get paid to test out games. It has 4.7 star reviews with over 250,000 reviews on Testpilot. So whether you're on break on your job, taking a shit, waiting at the airport, look no further than Free Cash if you want to earn a little bit of extra money while testing out games on your phone. And if you use my link in the pinned comments or this QR code, you will get a $10 bonus on the first game you play. If this sounds up your alley, get started, get playing, make some money. Thank you, Free Cash. And now, back to the episode. Warning, this documentary contains raw footage of correctional facilities, substance abuse, and covers the topic of drug overdose deaths. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, call the national helpline you see on the screen. This is Tommy G, Tom Grishesky.
Hey Tommy G, I already got the heads up about you. You're good.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks, we are at Chicago's notorious Cook County Jail, and we're gonna be looking into their drug epidemic with the strips, the paper strips. And this is an extremely notorious Chicago jail. I mean, just where we are right now, this neighborhood is hotly contested Little Village territory where we have the Two Sixers, the Latin Canes, Satan Disciples, Maniac Disciples, and all sorts of gangs just all over the place right here. When they lock them up here, the guards have to figure out a way to keep it safe, which is a logistical challenge. This is a place I'm very excited to learn about. We'll bring you in just a moment. All right, back in the paddy wagon again. I can't imagine spending any amount of time in a place like this. To do anything that frequently puts you back behind these walls, to me is kind of a mind-blowing loop to be stuck on for a human. But I also think it has so much to do with neighborhood, culture, and structure, and influences. That's one thing that if you want to change America from the ground up, we gotta increase fatherhood, we gotta make reading and learning cool, we gotta make cleaning up litter and taking care of the environment cool. Who are we with right now?
Tom Dart, Sheriff of Cook County. Tommy, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. And you're gonna be taking us on a tour?
Yeah, we're gonna go into Division 6, which is one of the, about like 15 different divisions that we have right now here at Cook County.
And do you know how many officers you have on staff at a given time?
Oh, a little under 3,000 correctional officers, correctional deputies, period, and run 3 different shifts. And depending on the population a little bit, it goes up and down a little bit.
So this paper strip drug epidemic has been a big challenge.
Yeah, you know, Tommy, the whole opioid epidemic that hit us about 5 or 6 years ago in this country hit everybody and hit every aspect of society pretty hard, so it was not unusual for it to appear here.
Are conjugal visits allowed here?
No. In visitations in jail, traditionally they occur behind bulletproof glass with little screens to yell through. We've allowed to where people are sitting at tables. Not only like we encourage the kids to hug their dad when they get there.
That's huge.
Yeah. Right to your right, sir.
So we're going to the basement of Cook County, and apparently it's like a tunnel system under here. It's easy to get lost. This is a behemoth of a building. I mean, to house 6,000 inmates at a time and up to 9,000, just the infrastructure that needs to happen is considerable. You have to remember, a lot of jails are kind of like paramilitary organizations. They have a hierarchy in the guards, and there's a certain way you can walk and talk, and it's almost like boot camp for criminals, bad guys. So which unit are we in right now?
We're in Division 6 down in the basement, and we're heading to the mail room.
And this is known as kind of medium security area?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, bud. Good seeing you.
So this is seized paper strips.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, that was one of the major problems, was two things. One, a lot of the stuff we were getting wasn't traditional narcotics. And so a lot of testing didn't show much, because originally when this first hit us, they were using stuff like rat poison. People
were smoking rat poison?
Oh yeah.
Not only is the substance easy to smuggle, but it's a Russian roulette of a drug because it's almost impossible to know what you are smoking. For example, there are reports of this paper drug being delivered coated in toxic compounds like roach spray and rat poison. Now folks, the most common chemical application on the strips is synthetic weed, which is also known as K2 or spice, which as a high school kid in Illinois in the early 2010s, I experienced this stuff firsthand. It is an incredibly intense high that sometimes resulted in me having to lay down and basically hallucinate for the first 10 or 15 minutes of the experience. And this is just another dangerous aspect of the strips because it can leave the intoxicated inmate incredibly vulnerable to being attacked, or in the case of what's happening in Georgia state prisons, tied up to be extorted for money. And so now Cook County sheriffs face a tough catch-22. They can either continue to allow physical paper documents through the mailroom, which civil rights advocates would say is a protected First Amendment right, or like other jails and prisons, they can completely ban mail altogether and force inmates to receive digital copies of communication.
So none of those things would hit if you test them because they aren't illegal substances. We test enough of it just to know what it is people are trying to sneak in these days. And it's now like different variations of cannabinoids that they're doing that keeps changing. We put so much time and energy into this thing, buying machines, not just dog sniffing, because none of the traditional stuff worked. We added all this stuff, but then we opened up all sorts of criminal investigations of people bringing it in.
This month, a corrections officer was accused of agreeing to smuggle in drug-soaked papers in exchange for $2,000.
Outsiders, insiders bringing it in, the whole 9 yards. And in doing it, one of the times we did it, we did a search warrant, got in the house and found all these things that this guy was using to make these compounds. And with it, he had like his formula that he was doing.
Yeah, this is some mad scientist
absolutely
kind of job.
And he was sending it out to other people too. He'd take money for it. A sheet this size would go for at least $1,500.
While filming another story I'm working on covering the programs offered to inmates within Cook County Jail, I got to speak with some of the inmates about the strip epidemic, and here's what they had to say about it. Strip's a drug people do on the streets, or is that like a jail and prison only drug?
I think it's like a jail and prison only drugs.
No one's doing that in the streets, right?
No, nobody doing it in the streets. Because it's like, and here you really can't get what you get in the streets, so.
And what do you think motivates people to do strips?
I think some people, when they start doing strips and everything, I think some people just be bored because jail just is like a repeated thing.
And that's why programs like this are so important, because it takes some of the boredom out of jail?
Yes, sir.
What do you think motivates the guys doing the strips to do them?
Some people don't see the light. Some people feel like they never coming home. Some people have drug addictions prior to coming here, so it's a substitute.
Te puede matar en algún momento, te pone como estuvieras borracho.
Como un zombie?
Sí, te pone como un zombie.
Now we're about to be on our way to an active raid happening where we go through a cell block and see if there's contraband in the unit. And now we're walking through legendary doors here. Anyone that is in the streets in Chicago knows about Cook County Jail. And famous rappers have been behind bars here. King Von, Little Durk. So we're walking into, I think it's a briefing meeting for the guards before they do the search.
All right, we're going to Delta Jack, right? You guys already know with our pre-briefing, half in the front, half in the back. Everybody hits the floor. No deviation from that. Everybody hits the floor, everybody gets cuffed. When they hit the floor, make sure that you're observing, right? Make sure nobody's fiddling with anything in their waistband, trying to ditch any contraband, weapons, whatever. Cuff them. Once everybody's cuffed, a couple of you guys break off upstairs. We'll make sure the bathrooms upstairs are clear. Everybody gets assisted to their feet, escorted to the wall. Everybody gets a good pat down. They're going indoor rec. Be safe. You guys know who your partners are. Where your partner goes, you go. Okay? Nobody's alone. But we gather information through various avenues to determine who has the contraband. Which person, maybe it's not on person, maybe it's under a sink, maybe it's somewhere under a water closet, somewhere they have easy access to. But through various ways of information, that's how we get it and we narrow it down. All the information together, like, okay, I heard it from here, we got it from here, we got it from here, it's all linking up, then we go hit it.
All right, here we go. You always feel the excitement in the air before a raid. These officers are getting ready to launch a full-scale blitz on a maximum security unit. In order to overwhelm and quickly subdue every single inmate, they are going to sweep the pod from 2 different entry points with the goal of no inmate being able to have the time to hide contraband or flush drugs down the toilet. Let's see how this goes down. You think the inmates know you guys are coming?
It's 50-50. We usually don't hit it this late, so it might be a good chance that they don't think we're coming. Here you go.
They got everyone on the ground. The first step is securing everybody. Look, you see people peeking their heads out of their cell too. But to be an inmate and to not know when this is gonna happen, that at any moment throughout the day, they can come in, rush you, and start the search. If you're on the side of smuggling, you have to stay on your toes at all times. What are we looking at so far?
So you have a shank made out of a screw. And then here you got what we call roaches, right? We haven't opened it up yet.
That's fine.
This was laying on the ground, this was laying on the ground.
But you think that's strips?
So usually, typically, yeah, each roach will contain multiple strips.
What's this?
This is basically what it is cellophane that's rolled, right? And they roll it until it gets really hard. And what they'll do is they'll stick it like in a sock, they'll tie it into it, and they'll use that as a weapon. Here is, it's a Magic Shave cream, but it's filled with feces.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's a weapon, a biological weapon?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what would be the other purpose of filling poop in that?
What I like to think is I feel like we've been doing pretty well recovering weapons, right? So this is like their last resort.
Okay, so right now behind us, one by one, every single inmate is being searched. And a search is an unpleasant experience. I mean, some of these guys are getting their shoes taken off, socks taken off. They're getting felt around the groin area, the most common smuggling areas. Another shank.
Yeah. This is a wick.
That's out of toilet paper?
I believe this is toilet paper. Yes, toilet paper. So what they do is they'll light one end of it. This is what they use to start, light up fires. Or roaches that you saw earlier, these, that's how they light them up.
One thing to highlight, look, so this is made out of a hailer, a medically necessary piece of equipment, but if abused can be turned into something that can stab somebody. And this is the fine line that a jail has to operate, is human freedoms, healthcare, danger. Another thing to note here is I was curious how the segregation might work, but I do see Latinos, blacks, mixed. Some jails racially segregate, some do it by gang, some do it by age, some do it by level of danger to society. But how you sort people is a recipe that can either make safety or danger depending on how you do it. A logistical question that every jail has to think about. So anyone that is wearing a green jumpsuit, it's apparently because they've either indecently exposed themselves or got caught masturbating.
We tell everyone not to search the day room, especially when there's none of these guys present. These individuals, if there's stuff hidden in the toilets, under the toilets, the main thing with that is, this is priority. Clearing the tier, making sure all of them are gone. If there's a weapon or some drugs in that toilet, it's not going anywhere.
Does each guy have a bathroom in their cell too?
Yes. Yes.
But this is the community room if they're out and about. Are they allowed to have any sort of towel?
No. Another shank.
Another shank?
I knew I saw something. Looks like to be another screw. Make sure it's just clear. This is the only division that has these where you can kind of control. Your skin's got to touch it, but see, that's a problem too. If it's not lighting with the skin, that means that it's tampered with.
And what are the implications of this being tampered with?
They could loosen these screws, which allows this to come up, exposing the wires, attempt to light fires, or just conceal contraband in there. I mean, these guys have all day, every day to figure out how to hide this stuff. So we just start from the back and just work our way this way. But every nook, every cranny has to be searched. Excess food. So I usually start with the windows, just because it's all the way on the end. They can hide stuff in there. So when we're doing this, the main thing we want to do is we don't want to mess up their stuff. We don't want to be bogus. But for us, we go picture by picture, paper by paper. These guys are ingenious. They could have 2 pieces of paper glued together with drug-soaked paper in between them, and just any quick glance, you wouldn't even notice. So this is usually a big indicator, the holes in the mattress. This guy, well, he had something in there. So yeah, with these books, you just essentially, yeah, these might just be bookmarks, but we got to make sure that they're just bookmarks. Because in between any of these pages could potentially be, and not even just drug-soaked paper either, staples, paper clips, tattoo needles, really anything.
Do raids happen on a daily basis?
Well, that's our whole function. I mean, we wouldn't describe them as raids. They're targeted searches or just regular tier searches. They have to be done. It all depends on the information we have, the intel we have will determine if we're gonna make a strategic entry through the front door, the back door, both, if we're just gonna hit a cell or 2, it all depends. A lot of planning goes into each one of these.
Have you seen any overdoses happen in these units?
Yes.
In 2023, Cook County Jail had 18 inmate deaths, and a third of those were due to drug overdoses, making this drug problem the single greatest cause of unnatural death in the facility.
The 50th time this year, the Cook County Sheriff's Office makes an arrest related to drug-soaked paper,
including occasionally the guards themselves.
This month, a corrections officer was accused of agreeing to smuggle in drug-soaked papers in exchange for $2,000.
Folks, because smuggling a single soaked piece of paper can be worth as much as $10,000, and because it is also very difficult to detect who the dealer is that is smuggling in the drugs, my gut tells me that the economic incentives are too high for this problem to go away anytime soon. Which would you say is more dangerous, the gang violence or the strips?
They're both just as important, right? But the paper drugs have been prevalent for the last, how long? It's really picking up steam. But the problem is that with the paper drugs, it's dangerous to not only them, but it's also dangerous to us as well. That kind of might tip the scale a little bit.
Justin Wilkes, Chief of Investigations and Intelligence.
And what's been grinding your gears lately?
Well, for the last couple of years, saturated paper inside the jail. Back in 2023, we had our first death from smoking the saturated paper, and I feel like ever since then, that's been kind of a thorn in the side of the sheriff's office.
And what is this drug?
I don't know exactly how to describe it because they're all different kinds. There's synthetic cannabinoids, synthetic opioids, synthetic hallucinogens, and so we don't really know. Each one's different. The inmates have a term they use, and when the more potent it is, they'll call the stuff death.
Did you get something over here?
Yeah.
Can you show me what that is?
They must have had a whip and that started these on fire.
So are they making homemade joints? Do they have a piece that they're hitting?
Yeah, they're making homemade joints.
When you guys raid a cell, how often are you finding contraband?
We find it every single time.
Every single time?
Mm-hmm.
So it never stops?
Never stops, ever.
I know you're about to search a cell?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to search it and then walk us through what's going through your head as you're searching?
Sure. So I start from the top all the way here, and I'm just looking for anything that they either stuff inside of like these lights, and this came off of the top, so I'm gonna go through it, see if it looks saturated or if they hid anything in there.
How long have you been doing this for?
I am going on my 4th year.
And what's it like?
You know what, I really do like it, and it's wild.
But are you attracted to the adrenaline and the excitement?
Yeah, I guess so. And here, in between these little joints, they stuff stuff too. This is just the wrapper, but sometimes they put like the Suboxone strips in here, but nothing's in here.
Which drug would you say causes you the most trouble nowadays?
Probably the drug-soaked paper.
It looks like a very uncomfortable drug to do.
It's actually kind of scary. The way they look when they're on that doesn't look like it's enjoyable.
What do we have here? What are we looking for?
Well, we search everything, so this was tied on the door, but like this they can't keep. It's like a handmade bag, so it's considered contraband, because they do get a shower bag already. They hide stuff in here a lot. I found Suboxone a few times, so I always open their mineral cream.
So you're the tester?
I'll do the testing and write down exactly what was found, like the contraband they're not supposed to have. But if they bring suspected paper, this one's for synthetic cannabinoids, but we also have other tests. So we have the multi, could be fentanyl, heroin, cocaine, meth, MDMA, or we have the opioids test. But you basically just rub on the paper that you think is suspect narcotics. Once you rub it on the paper, there's like 2 vials in the test kit. So this one didn't show anything. So it's not, if it's actually something, it's gonna look like this one here.
No, this is nothing.
Like you can see the different discoloration, and it shows brown would be the cannabinoid. So this is hooch. This is jail-made alcohol. The start of it. You can see there's a little bit of the juice, but they put a lot of different things. Like one time I found one with corn in it.
Yeah.
Whatever starts it from like the yeast or whatever, that's what they wanted to make that alcohol.
And can you describe the scent?
It's crazy because it actually smells like alcohol, but it also smells really bad.
If someone is caught smoking a strip, do they get extra time added to their sentence?
So we will charge them an additional crime. So anybody that is in possession of the saturated paper, depending on the schedule of narcotic that it comes back from the lab being, a lot of times it's a class 1 felony.
What is a hit on a paper strip run for in these jails?
So depending on the potency, we've seen it up to $10,000 for an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So they will cut those up into little $25 strips.
And that's where the overdose comes in, is it's hard to judge the potency until you've tried it.
Right. Yeah, and each guy is trying to outdo the other guy.
What can a successful paper strip dealer stand to make in a month, you think?
In our one case that we had, the guy was bringing in, I don't know, so it's hard to tell because he was distributing it throughout the country. So it wasn't just here that he was doing it, but he was bringing in, I would say, over $100,000 a month.
Does it blow your mind to see people return again and again and again to conditions like this?
Yeah, our system is broken. Prior to this, I worked at IDOC as well, at Stateville Penitentiary.
What are the differences that you've noticed working both jail and prison?
Prison, you got guys with guns watching you. Unlike here, it's more, I say it's more controlled. You'd be walking the line of guys and you got guys with guns on top watching you, making sure nothing happens to you and or anyone else. So.
What is it like being lied to so frequently?
It's hard because when you want to help someone, you really don't know if they're telling the truth or not, or they're just trying to spin you to gain whatever it is that they're trying to achieve.
Now that you've witnessed a raid reveal weapons and drugs, let's take you to the basement of Cook County Jail where much of the battle against smuggling is fought. Tell me about your role in this operation.
What we do is we search the mail as it comes in. They go through all the mail, but they do not open anything. They just separate it per division. We go over and take all the mail and bring it back over here, and we will open it by hand, and we will search everything.
Here they have a mailroom and drug detection laboratory where specialized officers hand search through the packages, letters, and books that come in, and they use infrared scanner technology to hunt for the invisible paper spray drugs. If you were to guess, what are the different things we're looking at here?
Our first instinct, when we look at a book, it's all starting to fade here and getting all watered.
And so there's sophisticated communication going on where they know, hey, look for pages 152 and 171,
Correct.
And that's my drug.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So the vast majority of the book could be innocent, but 3 pages are what can make someone a few $1,000.
So it is time consuming. You got to go through each page and look at each one. It might be different.
So this is a recipe an inmate wrote to somebody else?
Correct.
Okay, let me just read this out. This is a pretty crazy mixture. K2 spray, which that in itself, wild. Embalming fluid, purple can of Raid, boil the leaf with the water, nail polish remover, fertilizer, bed bug spray?
Yes.
You guys need to think of better drugs. This is wild to put in your body. How often is a smuggling attempt made, do you think?
I mean, I don't have like real stats, but I would say daily. Just the amount of paper that we found in here saturated with something would lead me to believe that it's coming in from every avenue that's possible.
And then you walk a weird line between inmate rights and inmate safety.
Right.
Tell me about that.
Most of them are not convicted of a crime yet. They're here facing their trial, and so they're innocent until proven guilty. And so there's this feeling that you want to have, they have rights, and that they want to be able to communicate with their family on the outside world, and you want that for them. You just have to understand that some people take advantage of that.
Folks, keep in mind that Tom Dart and his team at Cook County could easily eliminate most of this drug problem by completely banning all physical mail, but they intentionally choose not to. Instead, they believe that the family connection that comes from getting real photos and letters is worth the risk and is a key part of the rehabilitation process. Can you explain what's happening right now around us?
So this is the mail room for Division 6, so all mail coming from the outside, from family members, the whole 9 yards comes in here. Before we give it to them, it's examined by machines and by humans to make sure it doesn't have any type of contraband in there. But for our purposes, the big part we're looking for is drug-soaked paper, but we're also looking for everything else under the sun.
You want to check out this machine?
Yeah, if we could. This was something that we got into when things started really heating up and things were really getting difficult.
They call it a T-ray machine. It's not an X-ray machine, so it's safe for your hand. It's not going to have X-rays, something that's going to hurt your body. What they do is when we get the mail, you put it on here, and it calibrates to the machine. But these are 6x9s. You can select standard mail 6x9 to 10x13s. So this is 6x9. So once you put it on, as you can see, all these red lines, and it's like an air movement. But no matter how much I try to push the air out, all the red, which is deep saturation, comes back in again. And
so that indicates there's some uneven weight distribution.
Correct, of saturation. Some kind of saturation, some kind of moisture that's inside it.
So you're suspect of this envelope?
Yes, this one is definitely suspect.
So what would be the next step with something that you might identify
so I will take
as
this,
potential
I'll take this
contraband?
back, we'll have it tested, and we'll have it sent for destruction. Now see, this one has a little bit, this is just air. Because as you can see, as I can move it, and it stays gone. See, there's nothing there. So this one's good.
How do you quantify the mail that you guys receive on a weekly basis?
Yesterday we had 207 yesterday, and out of that we confiscated 20.
So about 10% of the mail is potentially compromised.
Correct. That's correct. Now see, this one is extremely, there's no way I can get that out of there.
What we're seeing is that the technology's had to adapt. Crime is an interesting balance because the criminals are always innovating. They're always going to be slightly ahead of law enforcement, and then they go here, and then they go here. It's kind of like a chess match.
There's a couple things. One, they can repackage it. If it comes in, they'll just, seal it back and ship it back. Another thing is third-party Amazon. You could get a book and sell it on Amazon, and Amazon gives you shipping labels saying it's coming from Amazon. Technically not coming from Amazon, it's coming from you.
Do you ever find yourself being impressed by the ingenuity of these guys?
Oh, all the time.
What do you think it would take to have these guys harness that energy in a positive direction in the free world?
Desire to do it. Sorry. What is that? There's Suboxone right there in the seam.
So that orange strip is Suboxone?
That's Suboxone.
I thought this book was going to pass. Right over here we caught another one, it looks like, guys.
The texture on this right here, you can tell it's been manipulated already.
So just to get a baseline, this is a clean sheet?
Correct.
Yeah. So clean sheet, okay.
And then just go ahead and feel
drag
it.
your finger across.
Just keep on. Be careful with that.
It takes a fine touch because the ordinary person, if they're not trained, I would just pass this. I have no idea that this is...
Yeah, no, that's right away. You can tell its texture.
Substances are making it to the city, and then orders are made from inside to out. Unless you just completely ban paper, I don't see how you stop this problem.
Director Yassine, I run the Intelligence Center for the Cook County Sheriff's Office. Been with the department 24 years, active as a director for the past 8 years.
How do you solve the strip problem?
Eliminate any mail coming in here. and just make it all electronic.
What do you think motivates these guys to take the strips?
You know, I wish I had an answer for that. What makes them want to do it? Chasing the high? I don't know.
Currently within these jail walls, which is more dangerous? Gang violence or the paper strips?
I would say the paper strips.
Folks, that was a look into Cook County's drug smuggling epidemic. Thank you to Tom Dart and his team for letting us in. And we have another piece coming with them soon. We cover their programming, their welding, their pizza kitchen, their rescue dog program. It's really cool, innovative stuff that I'm excited to show you. And folks, if you want to support the channel, rock the Big Dog merch, look no further than TommyGMcGee.com. Get a sweatshirt, get a shirt, hat should be on there soon as well. Get what you like, check it out. I appreciate the support, and I'll see you next week. Do you think you would survive a nuclear blast? Where would you go if a biological weapon was unleashed in your country? And what would you do if there was extreme civil unrest due to food shortages? Folks, experts warn that if you are caught within 100 miles downwind of a nuclear explosion, your chance for surviving the fallout is almost zero, unless you have a bunker. Right now, billionaire elites are quietly building massive underground fortresses, and it makes me wonder, what do they know that we don't? So to find out, I tracked down the #1 bunker builder in the world, Ron Hubbard, the founder of Atlas Survival Shelters. He's been in the business for over 20 years and has built bunkers for people like Mark Zuckerberg, Kim Kardashian, Mr. Beast, and Andrew Tate. And those are just the people he's allowed to talk about, because most of his ultra-wealthy clients have him bound by strict NDAs. So today we head to Texas to visit Ron and see exactly what it takes to survive the end of the world. But first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's episode. Folks, let's talk a little bit about money and financial strategy, because most of us have bank accounts where our money sits and collects almost no interest. What if I told you there's a place that offers 3.75 APY, which is 9 times the national average? Folks, that's why I'm happy to be sponsored by Chime. No overdraft fees, no monthly fees, and no minimum balance fees. Folks, your funds are FDIC insured. They have over 1 million 5-star reviews, and they are known as the #1 most loved banking app. Most of us are leaving so much money on the table, and Chime is the solution to get started on the path to having your money actually work for you. So stop making pennies on your savings and actually make real money with 3.75% APY with Chime. So upgrade today and head to chime.com/TommyG to get a $200 bonus and start banking smarter. So use this QR code to take advantage of the $200 offer, or head to chime.com/TommyG. Folks, that's chime.com/TommyG. And now to the video. All right, folks, we are just outside Dallas, Texas, and we have a very fascinating story for you today. We're diving into the world of millionaire and billionaire bunkers. And to me, this is like the new Rolex. Like, everyone that has a lot of money seems to be getting a bunker. And I want to know why. Do they know something that we don't? For the rest of us that can't afford a bunker, what options do we have? And what are these people running from that? Can we prepare for it at all? We're going to talk to the #1 bunker guy in the world, I think it's fair to say. We're about to pull up to the business Atlas Survival Shelters, and we're going to get this party started.
Hey, Tommy G.
Hey.
Well, come on in. Here, working, I have a PhD in architecture, I have a master's in science, and I got a master's in physics. It equals building bomb shelters. He's trying to extend life, and I'm trying to save life.
Tell the people who you are and where we are.
Well, I'm Ron Hubbard. I'm the founder and owner of Atlas Survival Shelters, and we are about an hour from Dallas right now in a small town called Sulphur Springs, Texas. Population about 15,000.
Why the heck did you start a survival shelter business?
Well, I like to joke around and say my modeling career wasn't going so well. You know, it became a side business for me. You know, I got into it like 15 years ago in 2011. I was in LA making doors, and in the back of my factory, I started making bomb shelters out of culvert pipe. And I did it for, you know, quite a few years, and then I got this idea that, you know what, I should make a small bomb shelter and put it underneath the house.
So is this more of a luxury man cave, or is this really to survive something crazy?
No, it's really to survive something, but we try to make it look like a luxury man cave. If you look on my plaque right here, there's Tristan Tate, Zuckerberg, there's Kim Kardashian going in my bunker right there. Zuckerberg, you know, But I get everybody famous, it seems like.
Kim Kardashian isn't the only one with a bunker. It seems President Trump is motivated to build one as well. You've probably heard about the taxpayer-funded $400 million ballroom, but what isn't as widely talked about is the supposed 6-story underground bunker that's part of the project. And with Trump's totally ethical son-in-law Jared Kushner also trying to build a bunker compound in Albania, it makes you wonder why some of the most powerful people in the world all seem to be scrambling to create a structure that could survive a nuke. I just read an article on you that previously you were doing about $2 million a month in business, but in the recent times you might project as high as $50 million.
Yeah.
What's driving that?
Well, we actually did that. It's the times.
In a month of business.
Yeah.
And the war is driving a lot of that right now.
Yeah, it will go back down to normal.
Tell me about the bunkers that you made for the Tate brothers.
Well, the bunkers for the Tate brothers, we're actually building it right now. Of course, you know, they got thrown in jail and it got delayed. First, we were going to build them a steel bunker. We designed it, we're going to manufacture it at our plant in Poland. Then we realized that we couldn't really transport it to the property where they got it. Basically, they ordered a Corvette and they're getting a Lamborghini. You're getting more bunker than what you paid for. But they're one of the very few clients that I have that's actually going to let me film their bunker after it's done. Most of these high net worth clients, you sign an NDA before you even know who the client is.
Tell me about the Kardashian bunker.
Well, the Kardashian bunker, I did an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. At the time, this was like 5 years ago, they wanted to shoot in a bunker. So I made them a round culvert shelter. It was 12 foot diameter and 50 foot long, basically the same bunker that I have for myself. And we shipped it out to Calabasas. We set it up. It was like in June or July. I would say that their bunker was more of a prop setup than doing the installation, because we never even got to get it in the ground for them to shoot it. We shot it above ground in the bunker, but before it was ever installed. All right, let me give you a quick tour of the factory here. So my company has pivoted from not only making bunkers, but teaching people how to make bunkers.
Really?
And then I sell the parts. So what I'm doing now is I'm teaching 1,000 people how to make bomb shelters, and I'm supplying all the parts to them.
Brilliant. I noticed that you make a lot of bomb shelters for the mega millionaires and the billionaires, but is this more of the affordable, everyday man's?
This is the everyday man shelter. Here, let me show you one. It's right here. I didn't open my business to service billionaires and millionaires. I opened my business to make those culvert shelters like that one right there for people like me, because I wanted one. So I started making those round culvert shelters, and then I started making these square ones because these can go underneath the house, okay? And then I got the idea of mass producing one that everybody could afford, that I eliminate the labor out of. This is my level 1 shelter, my least best design of the shelters, but it's also the least expensive. When you get into my bigger bunkers, they basically are EMP proof. They're a level 4 bunker, basically with up to 1 to 2 meters thick of concrete around them.
How were you able to test this concept and make sure that it can survive nuclear fallout?
What's protecting you from nuclear fallout is not the shelter itself, but the amount of earth between you and the surface. As long as that hole's 3 feet deep and you have enough 90-degree turns in there, you could crawl underground and survive nuclear fallout in there.
Can your bunker survive a nuclear bomb?
It depends its proximity to the bomb. I mean, if the bunker's buried in the ground and it is a ground burst which hits the ground, no bunker in the world can survive, because it's going to leave a crater 300 foot deep and probably 600 to 900 feet wide. They are designed to survive nuclear fallout, any kind of chemical attacks or chemical event that would be caused from nuclear warfare. They're designed to survive any kind of biological attack or any kind of biological situation. So let's say some country develops a plague that's airborne. You got to go into an airtight environment. That's what I build.
You got to know your science to be able to build these.
To work here, you got to have a PhD or a master's. You got to understand the structural part of how deep you got to be. You got to understand the physics of the slap from the wave. The science comes in of understanding how the radiation will affect you and your body. So if you put it together, that team can make underground nuclear bomb shelters. This you would think is a bomb shelter. It's big enough, but it's actually just the engine room to a bomb shelter. See, when you see the bunkers, the living quarters, that's just the living quarters. This is where the diesel generator goes. That middle room is for the batteries. The other room is a decon room, and the other room is a mud room. So there's 4 rooms before you even get to the bunker.
So how many of these bunkers are you turning out a month, would you say?
Not enough. Remember, this is R&D. Like I said, everything we do in here looks like the factory, but it's not a production line yet. We try to break even. We're not really trying to make money on the people. We're trying to gather data.
Even when you sell to a billionaire, you're not trying to make money?
I mean, we're not trying to lose money, but we're not so concerned about making money as we are about perfecting the product. Now listen, when I started doing this, there were 6 other people doing it. Now there's just 1, and that's me. 2 of the companies made bunkers that 3 people died in each one. 1 blew up, and the other 3 died from H2S gas.
To me, it says a lot about the state of the world that these things are going through the roof right now in sales. And what I think is really cool is that humans do tend to innovate their way through big problems. And you see it right in action right here. But at the same time, you wonder, do we have to live in a world where people should be thinking about nuclear fallout and bombs and bunkers? And I don't know, maybe I'm a little hippy-dippy Bob Marley, but there's gotta be a better way. Tell me about any unique features about Mr. Beast's bunker.
It feels like the inside was like an alien ship. It was very out of this world, I might say. We actually combined one of our round culvert shelters along with one of our square modular shelters. And one was at one level, and then you went down the stairs and there was another level. When the episode cleared or was over and they spent 100 days in my bunker and they won $700,000, they needed the B-roll shot of the money on fire for the promotion. And they had a fire suppression system added for this event. So when they went to burn the money for the shot, the fire suppression system didn't work and it burnt the entire bunker down. It was really made for YouTube type video. When everything was said and done, it cost like $1.2 million. You know, the attitude in 2011, when I asked people, what are the odds you think you'll see World War III in your lifetime? You know what it was? In 2011, it was like 1 or 2%. If I ask you today, what are the odds you will see World War III in your lifetime? Guess what it is? Way over 50%. I think World War III will happen in 30 years. But what you will see probably next year or the year after, you will see a plague, a biblical plague like you've never seen before. You see, the wealthy people are not worried about nuclear war. They're worried about plagues. And then they're worried about civil unrest after the plague. But I did a video, why is Bill Gates building so many bomb shelters? And then Bill Gates in the video says, I put the likelihood of nuclear fallout in my lifetime as very unlikely, but I put the odds of a plague greater than Ebola in my lifetime at greater than 50%. Now, that was his word for word. Matter of fact, right here you can show the clip.
This is the greatest risk of a huge tragedy. This is the most likely thing by far to kill over 10 million excess people in a year.
How did COVID impact your business?
COVID caused the business to increase and become more steady, and more people realized that they didn't think that was the big one, but they think the big one's coming as well as I do. I think you'll see a plague in 2027 or 2028.
Worse than COVID?
Just from what I predict, what I've seen, and what I know. I mean,
that's what some of the billionaires think that you're building for.
No, I'll put it this way. 50% of the scientists that created the COVID vaccine have been in this office buying bunkers from me. I get it from talking to them, okay? This is coming from the people who created the COVID vaccine coming now to get bunkers for the future of what they think is coming.
You can tell these boys are working hard. They got their toolbox, they got their Zyn. These guys are fired up, they're ready to work. You guys are making bunkers for millionaires and billionaires. What does it make you feel like is coming in the world?
I feel like, I don't know, I like the crap out of it. I've been here for like 3 years, and like, dude, it's awesome. Everything that, yeah, he's been here longer than I have, but every day it's something new. It's like something custom. You get to meet people that are prepping for, you know, like real life stuff that happens out in the world. So it's kind of crazy, you know, what's going on.
It's crazy stuff, and I've been paying attention to what's going on. Like I said, I've been watching videos and been paying attention to independent media, and I would say the need for one is imminent.
part of me thinks like most people cannot afford a bunker. So what can the average person back home do?
There's your master in physics.
Yeah, he is.
You're a master.
I have at least a bachelor's in physics, and I'm working my master's. And I would say, dig yourself a cave.
Do you guys think Israel has something to do with this shit?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
All we need is one nuke, just one nuke from one country, North Korea, Iran. Now, if Iran had one, they would have probably launched it. Then everyone would be panicking and calling me and saying, all right, it can happen. You know, these people who say, I'd just rather die when the bomb goes off, those exact people are going to be the very first one trying to find a bunker to crawl into and say, let me in, let me in. Yeah, it's a
one's for the Israeli kid. So
no, that's a Israeli blast door. We need the $2,000 gas tight door. That's a $6,500 door. So you got the wrong door.
Okay.
The Israelis made the gasket or the customers?
Well, it's funny. Everything you see right there was made in Switzerland or Israel. We don't make this in America. See, there's no demand for the items that you see right here because bomb shelters are not an everyday way of life. Where you go to Israel, every house and every apartment has a bomb shelter, and in Switzerland, every house and every building has a bomb shelter. So they have demand that's built in because the building code states so. So I'm working on changing the building codes in America, or at least give the people an option that the builder can say, hey, do you want your house to have a safe room or not?
Being inside a billionaire's compound, what kind of things have you noticed?
They keep them quiet, they keep them hidden. Even the contractors that are building a home, maybe right on top of them, they may not even know that they're there.
And a lot of them have to sign an NDA.
Oh, absolutely, we all do. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, we're not to divulge any names or locations or anything like that.
People do not want people to know they have a shelter. We come in incognito. We have no names on our trucks. Matter of fact, when we invoice the people, my factory doesn't even know who the customer is. So let's say you're Bill Gates. It will just say Bill Seattle on the invoice. So my office and my employees never know exactly who is buying a bomb shelter.
And why do you think they're so secretive?
Boy, this is like one of those things that, I mean, it's more secretive than a bank account. You could probably ask them where do you bank, and they may tell you JP Morgan or Raymond James or Bank of America someplace. But then ask them, where's your bomb shelter? I'm not telling you.
What we are walking into is a bunker that Ron's clients at the millionaire level would purchase.
It's gas tight, you come in, you can lock it down. Basically you got...
This is the composite flooring that you'd see on a nice deck?
Similar to Trex deck, it's a timber tech. You got full shower, toilet, you got all the plumbing, you got a sink.
Nice countertops. Look at this.
We do offer like electric stoves. We don't do anything propane or gas into a bunker because we have reverse osmosis filtration. You got hot water. You got just a regular sediment filter before it comes in. Microwave. This is a smaller air system. This is a 75. So we have different size filters depending on how many people you plan on having in there, how much square footage. So under the floor we've got 300-gallon water tanks. And then there's room to put food, water, any kind of stuff like that, any storage stuff. So there's plenty of room under. You can put your number 10 cans. You can put dry goods. You can put a lot of stuff down there. That's what we offer a lot of times is underfloor storage because then you got all your square footage, but you still also have room to put things. You're not all cluttered in here.
So this is a nice bunker, but it's still in the more basic level, right?
Yeah, this is a smaller one. There were some custom things that was done for this customer. So, there's a lot of different routes you can go. But yeah, absolutely.
What do you think this bunker goes for?
Probably in 150 or around 150K. And that's without install. So the install, there's a contractor that will install it as well. We work closely with the installer.
I've done a few bunkers for ex-cabinet members of Donald Trump. I don't want to spread any fear. It's not like they think anything is certain, as far as I know, except the future. And the future doesn't look too well.
From an off-the-record source, I heard about highly classified bunkers that are massive in scale sprinkled around the country. I'm talking about places like Mount Weather and Raven Rock that are built for military use and government officials in the event of disaster. And they are so big that if a nuke was inbound, all 535 members of the Congress and Senate would be able to live there for a prolonged time. We are talking about underground engineering that is incredibly impressive. Do any of the people buying bunkers from you cite aliens as a reason that they're getting them?
Not a one.
No?
No, look, man, these people buying bunkers are not crazy. These are wealthy multi-millionaires. Look, I don't get many poor customers. The average customer I'm getting spends about $300,000 on a bunker, okay? But I've sold more $1 million bunkers in the last year than I've ever sold in my life. I mean, right now, I've got 60 active projects. The largest project we're working on right now is 40,000 square feet, about $30 million.
A 40,000 square foot bunker sounds excessive. How many people do you think will stay in this bunker?
My installer just finished up 2 36,000 square foot bunkers. And each bunker was for 650 plus people, right? A little over 650. It was a government bunker. I'm not supposed to talk too much about it.
And they're using taxpayer money for that?
Yeah, but it's in another country. Yeah.
Of course the government will spend our money to buy a bunker for a problem that they exacerbated with our money.
Hey,
in the first
these bunkers were for just the regular people. These were not bunkers for rich people. These were just basic bunkers for the everyday person. If you can make it to this facility, you get to go in that bunker and you get to sleep in a cot. This builder is building 70 to 86 houses. The houses with the bunker in like 10 acres up to 20 acres of land is right at $2 million, $1.99 million. And you're gonna see them, you're like, golly, I want these houses, they're beautiful.
Ron is taking us down the road to a development of multi-million-dollar homes where every house in the neighborhood comes with a doomsday bunker. This development is a purely bunker mansion kind of development.
We've got about 70 lots out here for home sites, and each one of them will have a full underground survival shelter built into them. And what's great about the bunkers here is they're not just for, you know, a nuclear fallout scenario, right? Therefore, you know, a big storm comes through. We're in East Texas, you get tornadoes. So it's just a safe place to go.
You want to give us a tour of the house and then the bunker?
Absolutely, I'll come in.
Is the house also built around survival as well, or just the bunker?
So it's just the bunker. You know, these houses, they do run on solar. So, you know, you have some longevity built in there.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, we spend some time and put really cool features in that really make them look special above ground.
I love the beams.
So this is the full living area here. Obviously got the dining entry area and the kitchen. We've got a couple bedrooms back here. We've got the non-formal living with our secret entry into the bunker, which is pretty neat. So we're about to go check that out. So this is the non-formal living. So this is the comfortable living area, right? So this is where you're gonna come watch TV with the kids when you're just hanging out for a night.
So you put a couple of the pistols and ARs here, so when the knocks start happening, okay, I have to move. What happened?
The pistols and the fun stuff are downstairs. So we're gonna go check that out. So right now we're walking down into the bunker itself. We're coming to the first set of 2 bomb-proof blast doors. So these are gas tight. They are supplied by Atlas Survival Shelters. This is 8 inches of solid concrete and steel reinforcement. So nothing's getting through these. Yeah. So this is actually the decontamination room. So this one's got a shower built in. So you'd come in, this door would be shut here. You'd open this door, you'd come in, you'd rinse the fallout off of yourself. You'd open this door and then enter into your bunker. As you can see, this thing doesn't feel like a bunker. It feels, we've got some pretty sweet features built in, like this gun cabinet over here. Yeah, so it's actually got a keypad entry, so you can push in your code, open and close it as you will.
We hope a nuke never hits.
Absolutely.
So this is just gonna be like a really cool feature of the house that when you bring people over, oh, did you go to so-and-so's bunker? It's gonna be
absolutely, and that's kind of why we designed this space the way we did. We didn't want it to feel just like it was built for one purpose only, and that was to come down here in case a nuke goes off, right?
As you watch the populace fight over the grocery stores that remain and, you know, all these world leaders are getting taken out, you can sit in your bunker and just think, I'm gonna be okay for a few more days.
Oh, absolutely.
The idea is that the shelter is built for peacetime, but with the the closing of those 2 doors and the turning on of the air system, this becomes a certified nuclear bomb shelter within about 60 seconds.
Absolutely. We haven't checked out this feature either. Why don't you open that thing up and see what's behind there?
Texas? I'm gonna say either a gun or a steak. Oh, this is the escape hatch.
That's the escape tunnel there.
Okay.
So that little hole that you're seeing in that top hatch, that's what you'll actually unscrew in the event that you want to go out that tunnel. That will let the about 3 feet of sand drain out from there, and then you can actually undo the hatch and make your way out.
Okay, so another question that comes to mind is if a nuclear bomb hits, the population goes down, my wife survives, we have to have a place to start repopulating the earth. Can you take me to the bedroom over here?
Well, we've got a pretty nice bedroom. And plenty of room for repopulating in here, as you can see. We've got a full queen bed.
Yeah, I could do some things in here. Yeah.
So this is the fun closet. So this is where the actual air exchange happens and the air filtration. So that's actually bringing in the fresh air.
Really key part of this bunker being survivable is this right here. Can you explain what this does for the survivability?
So this is a Swiss-made NBC air filtration system, okay? And what this does, the air comes in, it goes through a pre-filter up here. So there's a HEPA filter up here. The air passes down. The hose would be hooked up to here. Then the air will pass through a second HEPA filter through 106 pounds of carbon, tetacarbon, activated carbon. It would take out all the gases. It will eliminate the radiation particles and basically come back through here and give you breathable air. So it comes in at the rate of 88 cubic feet a minute filtered, and it comes in at the rate of 176 cubic feet a minute of unfiltered air. So if you were down here and you were locked to door, you still got to turn on the air system because you got to breathe. So the air system's on right there now. So now it's blowing air, okay? And that's all the sound that it makes. You laugh about it, but there's going to come a time in 20, 30, 40 years that the people who have these bunkers will be the only survivors. You know?
I think it'll be a lot on who are the leaders of these countries around the world, because right now I feel like we're on a collision course with conflict because our leaders are choosing that. I don't think most people want the conflict that's happening in the world. So hopefully we can vote our way into a safer future. But it seems like, I mean, it doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican, the last 20 odd years, the war machine has been fed. I don't care if you're talking Obama, Bush, Trump, although Trump's doing it pretty big right now. The military industrial complex is gonna make it necessary for stuff like this to happen. The year is 2046. We voted the first lesbian in office, and I think the Americans are safe again, but I'm not sure. Actually, we'd probably be in a lot more trouble. If you know anything about statistics, lesbian couples are the highest domestic violence couples. Did you know that?
Yeah, they are. They have the highest divorce.
Shout out to the gay dudes out there. You guys are really leading the charge. Okay, so these solar panels are key for this bunker function, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So these are pretty simple solar panels, you know, pretty standard, some that you'd see mounted on people's roofs or something like that. But since we've got the extra acreage out here, we actually decided to do a full solar field like this.
And they can just switch it when disaster strikes and they need to go on the solar panels.
Absolutely.
If there's a cloud from the nuclear explosion, what happens to these solar panels?
Well, these stop generating electricity for you. But the good news is we've got enough battery backup in that thing to last you days. So, and if you're exclusively running the bunker, you're gonna last weeks. So that's the nice thing about that. This one just finished. So this one is going on the market, well, as of now. So as this video is coming out, this thing will be up for sale. Your floor safe's in this house if y'all want to go look at that.
Yeah, show them the floor safe. This is one of my 4 inventions that I have patents on.
It's actually got 4 lock bolts, one in each corner here. That comes with a special key that nobody else has. So these go in each corner. You'd take those 4 out and then you'd lift up this real heavy door, and then that's your underground safe. So it actually wraps around and goes underneath.
Gosh, I feel like that could be a dungeon or something. I don't want to go down there.
Isn't that cool? It's only about 2 feet deep. It's really just for hiding guns and ammo and survival food.
I feel like preppers love shit like this.
I love shit like this. Yeah.
And tucked in over here is gonna be your secret entrance down into the bunker. That pushes open.
I would disguise it with books. Not a lot of people read, so no one's gonna look over there.
Absolutely. So this one's not completely finished. We haven't turned the power on, But this is the upstairs landing area. Of course, you got your stairs that go down into the bunker down there.
A big part of this bunker business is having the right people build it, because there's so many things that if you build it the wrong way, one, it could be dangerous as he's laid out, but two, the survival aspects of it from the power, and also escaping. I'm guessing that's what this black hatch is?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's above grade now, that's why you see it, but you can actually come in now that it's backfilled, completely covered with dirt. You can come in, cut that tunnel, and put your protective barrier over it and cover that with earth and plant your grass over here, and you'd actually never even know that this thing is here. But right now we're actually standing on top of the bunker. So we've actually got about 2 feet, a little over 2 feet of dirt on top of the bunker. And then we've got our concrete, our steel reinforcements. This thing is completely engineered as well.
Well, folks, this was a look inside the world of bunkers, and I'm pretty fascinated by what I saw. You have an interesting job, man.
It's cool, isn't it? I think I have the best job in the world, at least right now.
And that is the mission of life, is to wake up and feel like you have the best job in the world. That's how I feel. I'm glad you feel that way. Everyone back home, keep chasing, keep experimenting, keep trying until you stumble upon that. Because then when you have the mission of life flowing through your veins, who can stop you?
Can't complain. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure, brother. See you guys next week. Peace.
The Goyer here.
Am I a Goy?
Yeah, you are.
Israel is the pulse of the universe. We are the chosen nation to come and protect the world.
I want to play a fun game. Is this person anti-Semitic?
There was real appetite in Israel for depopulating Gaza, making sure we never have this problem again.
What do you mean by depopulating? Let's say there's a Palestinian family there, bulldoze the house, or just move in outright and say this is mine now.
Doesn't exist.
What do you mean?
Doesn't exist.
It is happening in the world right now, and to say otherwise is kind of like you're closing your eyes.
All of you Goy watching at home, you're welcome to come on down.
What was the deal with the tunnel? Can we break the news on that once and for all? Do you think the questions I've had for you so far are fair game and okay to ask?
Most of your questions have been fair.
I hear the rationale.
It's what I would expect anybody who's online and sees the discussions that are going on. This is what's out there.
Never in my lifetime have I seen Jewish people under such intense scrutiny.
Anti-Semitism rising on the home front. The Manhattan Institute poll showed an alarming increase in anti-Jewish, anti-Israel sentiment.
People are looking to point the finger, and they point the finger at the Jewish people.
And so now the propaganda is the Jews are the oppressors. They're committing genocide in Gaza.
I believe that Jewish supremacy is the greatest threat to the world today.
And with everything circulating the internet, I have so many questions I wanted to ask the Jewish community. So different, I think, Talmudic verses have been floating around the internet. One of them is that Jesus is reportedly burning an excrement in hell.
Not excrement, in sperm.
So I hit up my Jewish friends and connections in order to help me infiltrate the most Jewish place in the country, New York City. And to be more specific, we went to Brooklyn to get embedded with the Chabad Lubavitch community. You know, the ones with the tunnel controversy. Today, folks, is a deep dive as we head to synagogues, Jewish-dominated neighborhoods, and sacred religious sites to ask Jewish people the most controversial and sometimes uncomfortable questions that I think many of us have. So buckle up, folks. Let's head to the most Jewish place in America. A lot of you are probably wondering, Tommy, are you afraid to do this episode? And the answer is, of course, because I've noticed a pattern that when people talk about these kinds of things, it can end up in job loss, debanking, getting kicked off of social media platforms, which is a pretty big risk to take for what I think is free speech. However, I don't think any group or topic should be off limits to fair and reasonable questions. But first, guys, I need to ask you a favor. I'm very sure this video will be shadow banned into oblivion, and the only thing that can help that is you, the audience. So please hit the like button, write a comment, and consider each of these actions as a salute to those that chase the truth. I love you guys. Let's get into it. Folks, we are in the beautiful New York City, which happens to be the most Jewish place in the country. And never in my entire life have I seen Jewish people questioned, scrutinized, thought about this much in the public eye. And I thought if you want to understand someone, you go straight to the source. We're also going to be brave and ask the hot button questions that I see circulating all over the internet. I think the truth should never be afraid to speak. I don't think anyone in this country should be above criticism. And some of us are wondering, is there a double standard of who's allowed to be talked about? If bombs are involved, I think we get to question what's going on. And I hope by the end of this, we can find common ground. Most content creators are afraid to talk about certain topics. They were before Charlie Kirk. That kind of changed everything when Charlie Kirk died. Israel started being talked about. Judaism started being talked about. And I think everything's yin and yang. If you classify one group as all bad, I think you're doing the wrong thing. Very excited to start this episode. Let's get into it. Folks,
What's up?
Tracks NYC.
Bro, how are you? It's good to see you again.
How are you doing?
I know you're on a mission. Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm trying to relax. Shabbat's over. The Goyer here.
This is my friend Trax NYC, who I met when I did a profile piece on him and his jewelry business back in 2023. He is the son of a Muslim father and a Jewish mother and is a very proud, outspoken Jewish man. Let's see what he makes of my controversial questions.
Am I a Goy? Yeah, you are. Goyim means just people of the nation if you read the Hebrew Bible, but, we'll talk all about it. This is the Jewish neighborhood of Rego Park, man. Rego Park, Forest Hills. After World War II, a lot of European Jews came here. But then in the 80s and the 90s, from the collapse of the Soviet Union, we had Jews from the Soviet Union. That's how I got here.
Is the Goyim to be avoided?
No, of course not. I mean, it's just a slang word for people from other nations, but it turned into describing, from some Jewish perspective, how some other people might seem. If I would use the word goyim, it'd be somebody watching TV, buying some shit from television. The television beams are going in their eyes, scrambling their brain. I want this, I want this. They don't even know, eating some factory farm shit, not giving a fuck, That's really what it is.
When we read online, like there's Talmudic verses,
right.
You can lie to the Goyim, steal from the Goyim, cheat the Goyim.
Yeah.
Is that scripture?
Listen, no, this is a religion that's been around for over 3,000 years, okay? So a lot's been written, a lot's been said. No.
Folks, you are hearing me ask a lot of questions about quotes from the Talmud. And for those not familiar, the easiest way to picture the book is this. Imagine if debating rabbis participated in a chat room conversation that logged all of their comments in one place and no topic was off limits. Topics like, is it okay to have sex with a 3-year-old? Or can you lie to the Goyim? It's an incredibly long book that has over 2.5 million words of text, and it's been at the root of much of the controversy questioning Judaism recently. I am worried that there could be cancellation, that I could have income streams cut off from doing a piece like this, just asking fair, honest, genuine questions. What do you think about that?
That's a shame. I don't know what could happen. I saw some YouTuber got his account closed. He did this, he did that. Here's what's not going to happen to you here. You're not going to get stabbed. Your money's not going to get robbed. You might try some good restaurants, and you might hear some good advice. So that's where you're at.
Speaking of food, shall we go get some kosher food and jump into this Jewish world?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
You're not going to feed us goy slop, are you?
Nah, you're going to have the best food you've ever fucking had, farm boy.
There's a statistic that there's more Jewish Americans in the IDF fighting than there are in the United States military.
They probably think that the U.S. military is good, and if they're gonna fight, they gotta fight for this little scrap of desert out there. It's not the most patriotic thing, but it could be worse, man.
Do you think there's been more scrutiny and awareness of the Jewish population now than ever in your almost 40 years of life?
Yeah, the comfort zone that the Jewish people had after the Holocaust has been erased because of the war in Gaza.
There's millions of peaceful people that follow what God wants, Muslims, Christians, right. Jewish people, and beyond. But when people start doing destruction in the name of God, I just find it hard to celebrate.
That's the problem, bro. Where is God in our lives? And that's not a question we're going to answer on an empty stomach. That's why we're going to get ourselves a little nibble, boys.
Mazel tov. Even though we have some disagreements about this subject, we're breaking bread, we're shaking hands, we're having a good time, and that's what civil discourse is in this country.
And just make sure you work hard and fund the Iron Dome, that's all.
All right, we're going to keep eating dinner. We'll see you guys in a little bit. How long ago was this spot promised to you?
Promised land parking, promised since the beginning of time, if not before then, Goy boy.
Gang, gang. All right, folks, We're going back out into the wild here. This time we're heading to the famous 7070 building, which if you saw that mattress tunnel story that surfaced, this is where we're going. And we actually went here years ago when we celebrated Purim. What can we expect today?
We can expect a lot of Jews dressed up. Like, I don't even know if there's a real cop. Could be. Who knows? We can check it on the street. We're going to make the walk and we'll see people partying.
How you guys feeling? And it was a lot of fun. But this is a place that has a lot of controversy and a lot of dedication. I think this is one of the faster growing sects amongst young Jewish people. And so it's gonna be popping. Like, this is like the place to go.
Hi.
Do you want to do a couple interview questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some Americans in my generation are feeling that Jewish Americans are above being asked certain questions.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I hate to say it, but Jewish Americans just feel like they are just above everyone else, and everyone else is done here.
Is it anti-Semitic to ask if Jewish people run media or control a lot of it?
I don't know if it's anti-Semitic, but I know that they do. This whole world revolves around the Jewish religion, and it's wrong. And that's just my opinion. I'm like, if anyone else wants to contradict it, that's fine, but this is how I feel.
Before we go any further into the controversy, first a quick disclaimer. Folks, anyone that you see in this video, I do not want you to go after, target, attack, send mean messages. That is the opposite of my intentions. We want to be on the higher ground of having civil discourse and not being hateful or predatory in our response. So thank you, please advise, and let's continue. Folks, there's so much happening in the world right now that's very important to stay informed. And one great resource I use is Straight Arrow News. In fact, I'm using them yet again to prepare my research on the way to have some good interview questions. And I type in keywords like Israel or Jew, Jewish. Today is March 14th, and key news that's coming out right now is authorities identified the shooter that went into the Michigan synagogue. This guy rammed his truck into a temple. Security exchanged fire with him and took him out. The other thing I found interesting about this story is it's been found that an Israeli airstrike in Lebanon killed 4 of this guy's family members last week. The cool thing about Straight Arrow News is whatever you're interested in, it's important to stay informed. Whether that's US news and politics or health or tech, I think it's very powerful to arm yourself with that information. So do yourself a favor. We actually have a QR code on the screen right here. You can scan it with your phone. Just download it right now before you go any further. Straight Arrow News has been a great partner and a great resource for preparing for stories. Yet again, highly recommend you download their app using my link in the description or pinned comments or this QR code right here. It's easy, it's free, it's a no-brainer. Stay aware, stay informed. Good to meet you.
Right on time.
What's your name, sir?
Menachem.
I like that. You got a good get up.
Yes, we are. This is how we pray, and let's go inside. I'll show you how do we pray in the center of Chabad right here, and we will pray for the building of the third temple, and let's go right in. We actually right now praying and singing for the peace in the world, and all the mountain of Jerusalem should be peaceful and be fully given to the Jews. One of the commandments in Judaism is every single day we have to pray 3 times a day to ask for needs. So this is the main prayer, and the prayers include every single thing. It's including to have good health, to have peace, to have money, to survive, all the good things.
I guess I'll do a little prayer of my own too. I do pray for peace. I hope that this world can come together. We're in very chaotic times right now, and it feels very scary. And there's a lot of people that are suffering overseas, a lot of people making money off of war. I feel like we're about to get trespassed out of here. We got invited in, but right now, I guess security is talking to them, and they looked up my name and they said I might be unwelcome here. So we're gonna figure out if we're allowed to stay. I got softly removed from this temple 3 years ago.
So he's gonna take you out now. Okay, thank you guys, it was a pleasure. Hopefully I was able to help. Thank you, God bless.
I think it's tense times right now. Turn up right now. What's the song about?
Asking for the coming of the Messiah, the Lubavitcher Rebbe.
What do people believe about this man? Can you explain the Chabad belief system?
There is a Moses in every generation.
So is he a prophet?
Yes.
Can you explain what is on your head? I thought it was a GoPro at first. I thought you were filming.
This is what's called the tefillin. You can Google it. It's a prayer that every morning every Jew is putting it on Like you see some time Max on it. We did.
So that's connected to that.
Yes.
Almost immediately after entering the 7070 building, I started receiving suspicious looks. Shortly after, a rabbi approached the guy who invited me in, showed him my YouTube channel, and from what I can gather, told him in Yiddish that I was not allowed in the building. And very quickly, things started to feel weird. Here's what happened next.
Some people who do some research over here on security, they will ask if you are secure that you may bring Chabad on a negative light or against Judaism.
No, we're trying to do an honest inquiry into a lot of the questions many people have circling. We want to understand the Talmud. We want to understand what the Third Temple is. We are here on a journey to understand. I don't know what the security guy is saying, but...
Okay.
I mean, how often are people here studying, praying, would you say?
Every day and all day long.
And what are these books over here? Is this the Talmud?
It's not the Talmud, it's a book from the Lubavitcher Rebbe's speeches.
These are all speeches?
Correct, from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe will talk every Shabbat, usually every Shabbat for hours and hours, and I'll be documented in these books.
So study is a big part of this culture and this branch of Judaism, and I'm curious to learn more about what some of these teachings lead to, or what is hoped for in the future. I heard a lot about the Messiah, a lot about this Third Temple. I want to learn more about that.
Now, one of the base of Judaism is we pray for peace, we pray for the coming of Mashiach.
You hear these rabbis talking about peace and the coming of the Third Temple, but here's the catch. Where this temple needs to be built, there is already something there, and that's Al-Aqsa, which is one of the most sacred Muslim mosques in the world. And the part these rabbis are conveniently leaving out is that to build this Third Temple and fulfill the prophecy that triggers the coming of the Jewish Messiah, Al-Aqsa needs to be destroyed and replaced. Now, if Al-Aqsa gets destroyed, this will without a doubt bring the entire Muslim world into a holy war that could easily bring about World War III or IV, depending on which one we are on by then.
Now we have an interesting card I would like to share with you guys, and this is a message from the Lubavitcher Rebbe for everybody else in the world. And this is also part written in the Torah with the 7 universal law. You can definitely share it.
So a goyim has to follow these 7 laws, but a practicing Jewish person has to follow around 600 or so?
613, correct.
But I only got to do this.
That's correct. This is 7 fundamental laws.
I see preserve human life is a big one here.
Definitely not to kill.
Waking up this morning, the family of a Tampa man killed in the West Bank is demanding the U.S. State Department to launch an investigation into his death.
The Palestinian Ministry of Health says it came at the hands of Israeli settlers.
And respect property.
Definitely.
And respect God's creatures. Do not be cruel to animals.
Correct.
Whose land is it in the West Bank?
I believe that most people who will live in the West Bank maybe will not say that openly because they're scared, but they would prefer that Israel will be the governor over there than any other groups. So if you really care about the people and be sincere what they prefer in life, they would prefer Israel to be there.
A settler would be somebody that comes from around the world and they go to the West Bank and they let's say there's a Palestinian family there, bulldoze the house or just move in outright and say this is mine now.
Doesn't exist.
What do you mean?
Doesn't exist. No one will come with a bulldozer and kick out anyone.
It's all over. If you watch videos, there's actual videos of it.
You can go to the field and you'll see that doesn't exist.
How can you say that?
I visited many times and I know the people there. No one ever destroys someone's house and kick out any citizen.
You are stealing my house.
And if I don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it.
No.
We're not here to talk about what's happening in the West Bank. We're talking about what's happening in New York City. We're here in New York City.
Well, I do think it's very much connected. It's overlap.
No, nothing to do. We're here to inspire people, not to judge anyone.
Can I ask you what your take is on a guy like Ben Gvir?
He looked like a great person.
יש מהצעקות שלהם, לא להתרגש. ברוכים הבאים לישראל, אנחנו בעלי הבית.
I see a lot of people gathering. I see things being laid out. What is happening here?
The Lubavitcher Rebbe were giving dollars every Sundays for charity to Jews and non-Jews, and everyone was welcome to get the blessings. I get $1 for charity.
I can take. Is it okay?
You can go on the
It's okay if I take one? Ted Cruz is saying that he wants to introduce legislation that anyone that criticizes Israel can be put in jail for 5 years or fined up to $3,000. Would you be in favor of a law like that? Folks, I tried to find this article about Ted Cruz again, but I cannot, and it's possible what I just said is fake news. But let's hear this rabbi's answer to the premise that someone could be put in jail for criticizing Israel. Here's what he said.
every place and every leader need to find a solution for his own issues, how to conduct that people will behave in a nice way to each other.
Just to reverse it, if someone said if you criticize Iran, you could go to jail for 5 years or get fined $3,000, would you find issue with that?
I feel uncomfortable, definitely.
Now, do you see how the reverse would also feel uncomfortable?
Definitely. I gotta go. We'll take a step, we'll continue.
This happened last time. As soon as I start asking real questions.
It's 11:50 already.
I do want to say this. I think in this country that it's beautiful when we can have conversations like this. I think this is the way we learn from each other. This is the way we grow. I do appreciate you welcoming me in and showing me around. I wish you the best on your studies and how you go.
Thank you.
Folks, I fear that our freedom of speech in this country is under attack. If it were up to guys like Shabos, you might end up in jail.
You can't dictate your way out of how people think. What you can do is you can tell a bus driver in the 21st century that if you tell a black guy to go to the back of the bus, we will haul your ass to jail that night. When someone commits an anti-Semitic act, we don't send them to jail. Instead, we get the ADL to say, let's bring them to a Holocaust museum.
If it were up to this lady, you'd be not able to find a job and also not able to find a babysitter for some reason.
We will shine a light on you that, thanks to Google and SEO, will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented.
Unsurprisingly, these anti-free speech laws are finding traction amongst our lawmakers. In fact, nearly 40 states around the country have made anti-Semitism laws, including just recently my home state of Wisconsin. The rules for what officially constitutes anti-Semitism comes from the IHRA, the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, because I guess these guys help make policy in our country. Let's look at how they actually classify hate speech. One example is accusing Jewish citizens of being more loyal to Israel than that of their own country. I think we're gonna have to ask Miriam Adelson and Ben Shapiro about this one. Number 2 is spewing classic anti-Semitic tropes like the Jews killed Jesus. Okay, what religion was Sadducees and the Pharisees that conspired to kill Jesus? I have to think about that one. And third, drawing comparisons of modern Israeli policy to that of the Nazis. Well, let's think about that. The Nazis concentrated people in open-air prisons, they blockaded supplies from civilians, they displaced millions of people, and they used dehumanizing rhetoric against their enemies. I wonder what other country in the world is doing that right now. This is America. Why the fuck are we prevented from criticizing another country across the world that is arguably the most pound-for-pound, deadly, dangerous, and destructive country on earth? It makes you wonder, who are we controlled by? Let me know in the comments if you are as concerned about these laws as I am. I definitely got the sense that as soon as I asked questions in a certain direction, it was get them out of here kind of a energy. Are you a rabbi by chance?
I am an ordained rabbi. I don't have a congregation.
How long did you study to become a rabbi?
It's not the culmination because Torah study is something that we do throughout life. Chabad is a branch of Hasidic Judaism. Hasidism is a movement that was started close to 300 years ago in the area of Ukraine, Poland, White Russia by a rabbi called the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov. Chabad's goal is to bring Mashiach. So when Tucker Carlson a couple weeks ago spoke about how Chabad subtly wants to build the Holy Temple, that's only half true because it's not subtle.
I've talked to a bunch of people about this who think that it's imminent, that it's not crazy to think that that mosque would be blown up in order to make way for the third temple.
We believe that all Jews pray 3 times a day, that for the coming of the Messiah, at which point we'll have a third holy temple. Jews have 613 commandments, and non-Jews, by the way, also have commandments. Non-Jews have 7 commandments that they have to fulfill. And by performing those commandments, we bring the coming of the Messiah closer.
I see what is happening in the West Bank, and I would say a lot of these rules are being violated.
How so?
Preserve human life. A lot of people have been bombed or kicked out of their home.
Why?
Why is that? That's what we're trying to figure out, is why are they being removed from their property?
You're trying to get at something, so tell me what you're trying to get at.
Do you think it is permissible by Judaism what is happening in the West Bank?
I mean, that's very broad, but yes,
I guess
here.
Getting their houses bulldozed.
If there's someone who is a terrorist who goes out and kills Jews, that one of the actions that the government takes then is to bulldoze his house.
Does Israel have rights to the West Bank?
Yes. If anything, we have more of a historical connection to what you call the West Bank than we do to Tel Aviv.
What do you think about guys like Ben Gvir?
He campaigned as a very strong right-winger, and once he got into office, he's been, I think, to a lot of his supporters, a little bit of a disappointment, but...
You think he's too soft?
Oh, yeah. there was real appetite in Israel for depopulating Gaza, making sure we never have this problem again.
What do you mean by
Including
depopulating?
Removing them to other places. I mean, Trump was talking about that. Forget about Bibi right now. Trump spoke about that, right? You remember that Trump spoke
Oh yeah,
about that?
Trump is big on this stuff.
What's gone on in Gaza has to be taken with a very large grain of kosher salt. And if it's true, then so what?
So what?
Yeah, they have a war, and their objectives of the war. And one of the objectives of the war is to remove Hamas, remove the government of Gaza, and to be able to take over that area so it is no longer a threat to Israel. They're not specifically targeting civilians, right? Unlike Hamas, who does specifically target civilians, Israel...
You don't think civilians are being targeted?
No, they're not. Show me where civilians were targeted.
You may be getting the impression by now that these guys are giving me runaround answers, and my gut tells me it's not that they don't know, but rather that they don't want to share their real opinion. And folks, when these guys act unaware of Israeli settlers or Israeli politics, let me fill you in on this. Number one, their Chabad movement has a massive presence across dozens of illegal Israeli settlements. Number two, they hosted Ben Gvir in 2025 to speak at that synagogue, pray with them, and afterwards it got so feisty that a mob of Chabad guys went outside, they saw someone they thought was a protester, they chased her for blocks and blocks and blocks, they threatened to rape her, and they also chanted death to Arabs. So to me, when they play the I'm just a rabbi card, I don't buy it. That's the majority of the casualties.
But were they targeted, or does Hamas hide behind civilians? And do they put their rocket launchers in hospitals and in schools so that you'll be asking me these questions, so that we'll be having this discussion?
Let's start with a Malcolm X quote. Can we start controversial?
Sure. I don't know much about Malcolm X, but go
Malcolm
for it.
X has a quote that says, "You can tell the truth about any minority in America, but make a true observation about the Jew, and he cries louder than anybody else." Anybody that gives even a just criticism of a Jew is instantly labeled as an anti-Semite.
I mean, is there a kernel of truth to it? Of course. Like, Seinfeld did a joke about this 30 years ago that, like, Uncle Leo, I think the restaurant gets his order wrong and he says they're anti-Semites, right?
Yeah.
I told them medium rare. It's medium.
It happened.
I bet that cook is an anti-Semite.
So yeah, I'm sure that there are many Jews who are oversensitive to this. And by the way, not without good cause, right?
35 states right now have legislation that if you try and boycott Israel, you can be in trouble in an American
Okay,
state.
but what does that mean, though? There's not a single state in America where a person could be fined or a person could be in prison for saying negative things about Israel, for calling for a boycott of Israel, even for saying things like "from the river to the sea," which is essentially a call to kill millions of Jews. I think that this criticism is always an excuse to get at something else.
Fortunate, because I'm assuming she's a senior and going to graduate soon, and now this is going to jeopardize her ability to graduate.
A 23-year-old FIU student charged with a felony over messages she wrote in a school group chat. According to her arrest report, this went down in a WhatsApp group chat of about 215 students.
For this morning, growing concern after Miami Beach police showed up at a woman's home to investigate a comment that she made on the mayor's social media post.
As far as we believe, Israeli government policy should be protecting the lives of Jewish people in
Would
Israel.
you say it's protection to go onto someone else's land, take their home, and make them get out of there?
Well, again, you're saying that as if it happens with no provocation in a vacuum.
This is the thing that seems so absurd. There are 700,000 Israeli settlers right now moving through the West Bank, taking over land, beating Palestinians to death. We interviewed a Palestinian-American dad about this. His son got beaten to death by Israeli settlers. It's happening every day. To say otherwise is kind of like you're closing your eyes.
Because almost all these things are not real. How
is that even possible to say?
I disagree with him.
This is my Jewish friend Meir. Just as things were getting a little tense between me and the ginger rabbi, he entered the fray to see if we could find common ground.
But I also think that, unfortunately, a lot of people have a hard time with the reality that there are some really, really bad people among the settlers. Eitan, with all due respect, I think that you are missing a lot of real things that are happening on the ground. This week, 7 Palestinians have been killed by settlers. Like, it's happening, and I know, and I feel bad because I know a lot of people, we don't have access to all this information. A lot of it is online out there, and it's because it's painful. Because we want to believe that we're good and we're moral. People are really stuck in their narrative, and they're like sometimes block and filter out really horrific realities on the ground.
Do you think the questions I've had for you so far are fair game and okay to ask?
I think that most of your questions have been fair. I think they have often been coming from premises which are very skewed premises.
Right now, our politics feels like it's being heavily influenced by Israelis. That's why we're in Iran.
Oh, yeah, I hear that. I hear
and
that.
a lot of us don't like our tax dollars going to what we see as atrocities overseas. We don't like that at all.
Okay, I hear the rationale. I hear the rationale. Do I feel that there's probably a bit of an abuse? Yeah, but I feel like there's abuse every single time there's wartime. Do I wish that it was easier, and do I wish that the Israeli government was making better decisions? I feel that they are, in a certain sense, being reckless, but I feel that that's a necessary recklessness that just comes with war in general.
I appreciate you, brother. We're doing it fair. If you want to talk, we're right around the corner. Yeah. It's clear that Tyler Oliveira's video ruffled a lot of feathers in the Jewish community. In fact, I just went to dinner last week with one of my Jewish friends, and he was pissed about Tyler's video too. However, I asked him, how was Tyler's video any different than Nick's video on the Somalian fraud, where Elon Musk and the entire right-wing establishment catapulted that video so that everyone saw it. But when it came to Tyler's video, he got deleted from Patreon. And I really think that Tyler is just scratching the surface when it comes to the criminal organizations that are within the Orthodox Jewish community. Some of you have probably seen the news stories about deed theft that are circulating. I have on good information from a friend who's formerly an FBI agent that spent years of his life investigating Orthodox Jewish crime, and he told me about the early 2000s when in the Crown Heights neighborhood there would be 8 different cash houses with $20 to $25 million each that was doing money laundering for the Mexican cartels. Furthermore, he was talking about remittance scams where they hide their assets so that they can qualify for welfare to the tune of up to $70,000 per kid in their family. And what's more is they would funnel these monies through their schools or organizations. I mean, you saw in Tyler's video where they said they do so much charity, but then everyone's on welfare, which doesn't really make sense.
How do people afford to have like 10 kids out here?
The community is based on this.
Okay, so is it wealthy members of the community give charity?
Yes, mostly. That's the way.
Are most people on Medicaid, SNAP, EBT? Be honest.
I don't know. I can't speak for other people.
What about you?
I'm not going to tell about myself.
Okay.
And it was funny to me because when I asked this Jewish friend about one of the recent Indian videos that Tyler did, he loved it because he's in the Dallas area and he's upset about some of the Indian stuff that's going on there. So to me, it was like, I got you moment where it was kind of a double standard, which is why are we able to talk about fraud with the Somalians or the Indians or another group, but not within the Orthodox Jews? And remember, before you get upset, even in Israel, the people there are mad at their own Orthodox Jewish population for their welfare usage. So Israelis can be mad at it, but not Americans, because that's anti-Semitic. Explain to me how that makes sense. So to me, what was the difference between what Nick Shirley did with Somalians and Tyler did with the Lakewood people?
For sure, 100%. In big cities, a lot of people know Jews, right? But if you go out to a small town in Milwaukee, you go out to a small town in Ohio, go out to a small town over here, they've never seen a Jewish person before. So what happens is when you have a small group of people inside an extremely small sect of America, people across the world, they'll look at Jews and be like, they're all bad. No. Bottom line is, bro, we love everyone.
Folks, I've been seeing a lot of comments online about all juice box do XYZ. And I just want to say that is lazy, sloppy thinking. Anytime we say all blacks, all whites, all straights, all gays, all of anything, we end up in a bad territory with how we think. With that being said, I am curious to know what percentage of Jewish Americans are for things like ethnic cleansing in Gaza, politicians like Ben-Gvir, anti-free speech laws, dropping bombs on innocent people. Because to me, I would say these are extremist takes. And just like with the Christians, we can call out the KKK or the Westboro Baptist Church, or with the Muslims, we can call out ISIS. I believe we have every right to call out Jewish extremism as well. And for the Jewish people that tune in and watch this episode, I would like to hear your thoughts in the comments.
My name is Zach. I grew up an Orthodox Jew. I no longer identify as that, although I definitely identify as a proud Jew. I'm very Jewish.
This is Zach. Because he's a cool New Yorker and a guy that grew up heavily in the Orthodox Jewish community, he is the perfect portal between the world of the average American and that of the average Hasidic Jew. Let's see if you agree with some of the points he makes here.
I live here in Crown Heights, which is, has a huge Orthodox Chabad community. But I think all the questions you're asking are fair. We're at a point right now, I think, in the media landscape where Jews, with a lot of good reason, are a little bit wary of YouTubers. You were open about your bias, but I don't think you have an agenda. They might even have critical opinions about stuff going on in Israel or stuff going on in other Jews, but they're so afraid to bring that energy out into the world.
They have to stay united because they faced annihilation throughout the ages.
Yeah, there's real tribalism of just like, we got to protect our own. I think humans are human, man. And if you tell me that Do I think Jews are capable of doing terrible things? I think humans are capable of doing terrible things. I think humans are capable of doing wonderful things. Simple as that.
There's a conspiracy that Jews control the media. What do you think about that?
I think there are a lot of Jews in the media, and they have Jewish interests that are probably pro-Israel. Yeah, but it's not the Jews running the media, not at all.
I'm going to share with you something that happened to me with AI recently, okay?
Sure.
So I was looking at source research on the following prompt. I said, can you show me the stats regarding Jewish people occupying leadership positions within news and media organizations? AI said I cannot fulfill this request. I'm programmed with strict safety guidelines that prohibit me from promoting, validating, or providing material for established hate speech tropes. I said, okay, can you tell me about statistics of white people that occupy leadership positions within news media organizations? And it began rattling off statistics. Is there a double standard at play here?
There probably is, yeah. I have a good reason why there is, though.
Tell me.
Has anyone ever hunted down and killed and put white people in concentration camps because they believed that they were secretly running their society for bad? I'm going to assume no, although I don't know. But people put my grandparents into concentration camps for that reason.
Are your grandparents Holocaust survivors?
Only one side. The other side was lucky enough to, like, escape. But, like, yeah, like, and it's, when I say mine, it could be the royal mine. Like, look around you, like, all these people come from, like, so many of these people, like, grandparents in the Holocaust. But you can understand why there's guardrails. I hope, yeah.
I actually feel like there's a danger when we're not able to joke around with each other or joke about stereotypes. What do you think about that?
I fully agree. I think that most people know when a joke comes from a place of real hate and real bigotry.
I saw you scroll on Tinder. How is your Tinder game going right now?
I have ADD. You were talking to my friend Meyer, and I had nothing to do, so I was scrolling Tinder, and then I was like, look, if Jews control the media, I would be getting way more matches, okay?
You've been waiting for that match for 3,000 years.
It was promised to me 5,000 years ago. But, okay, I want to make fun of you on camera, though, because to some degree, you know who you're controlled by? You're controlled by the Goyim. Because you wouldn't put on my friend's yarmulke because you're like
kissing the wall.
It's like kissing the wall. So you are trapped by the perception that you're afraid some of your followers will have of you.
But I'm also not putting on a Catholic priest's robes. I'm also not gonna do a Muslim ritual.
But maybe you should be.
What do you think of Bibi?
He was hot when he was younger. That's weird. I don't like that. Nah, he's probably a bad dude. He seems like he's cut from the similar cloth of Trump, just a slightly less retarded version. I don't trust people in power, I'll be honest with you.
Are we getting encircled right now? You think we're safe?
No, I think these kids are gonna mug us, and you're about to get Jew jumped.
So, how you guys doing? Good to meet you guys. How are you? Appreciate
you know,
it.
I met Tyler Oliveira. So
you did?
In your opinion, who's better, you or Tyler Oliveira?
Who's better?
Yeah.
I think we're different. Now you're way better.
But who do you think has better content?
I think we each do things well. There's a reason both of us have big audiences. Did you guys take issue with Tyler's video? About the Orthodox community?
Okay, so he's kind of looking for a reason to hate us. Like, he was pointing us down. But I feel like if you come in with, like, a clear mind, not looking at anything else, like, then you could actually have a real opinion and could be influenced. But if you come in to, like, be bad and do bad things, it's what's gonna end up happening.
What was the deal with the tunnel? Can we break the news on that once and for all? In case you forgot about the tunnel incident, here's what happened. Rabbis at the synagogue got caught building a tunnel, and for what? We still aren't sure. Their spokesman claims it was just dedicated teenagers trying to expand the synagogue to fulfill the wishes of their late rabbi. But if that's true, why did grown men riot when the police showed up? And why, when rabbis were caught using it, did they suspiciously run away when they were filmed by pedestrians? Because to some, tunnels make them think of smuggling, and it leaves you to wonder, was this really just teenage shenanigans or something more nefarious? With the current information, it's impossible to say, but at any rate, I was curious to hear what these fellas had to say about the incident.
There's these kind of, say, extremists who believe that 770, which is our synagogue, is too small for so many people to come in every day. It's packed. Some days you could barely, like, stand there normally. It's, like, very hard to move. So they decided, like, okay, so there's not going to be power from whoever, there's no official owner of that synagogue, but they both believe to expand. But out of, like, ego, they're not going to agree, okay, I'll expand or I'll expand. So it's an ego problem. So these people who are extremists decide to take it into their own hands. They decide to make a tunnel and then just break the wall, and then no one's going to care. They're just going to put it back up.
Wait, so people that are for the tunnel digging, can you explain why?
It's not about whether or not you're for them or not for them. Just it's hard to understand what people, like, the situation that people come from and, like, what's going through their head. So until you're in their shoes, you can't exactly judge them for what they did.
You don't think there was any nefarious business going down under there?
No, they're just stupid people, honestly. But like the world is naturally anti-Semitic. It's not like a thing. So when something goes wrong with the Jewish people in themselves, it's very easy to just make up things about what people do or not.
Hold on, I gotta address something that just came in. So I just got a text from a guy that we had met in Purim 3 years ago. He's been kind of against some of the things I'm doing. And I told him the topics we're working on. He's like, all good topics for clicks. And to me, I don't like that. It's not. This stuff is not happening in a vacuum. It's not all of a sudden that people just start to care about Jewish Americans or Israelis or the blend. It's because our real life foreign policy, wars, elections, things are being seemingly decided by these things. So I don't like it's just for clicks. Plus, it's fascinating. These are the questions people want to know.
That's fair. I understand why he said it, because like, again, like the wariness, but like at no point did we say like we think these questions are unfair. These are questions that are on Americans' minds.
You should be asking them.
Right.
Are you concerned by the Epstein files?
100%.
Did you see how they used the word goyim in there?
I did. Like, it was bad enough that the most famous now in the 21st century, his last name is Epstein. You know, his last name might as well have been like Jew Goldberg machine.
Jews are receiving a lot of criticism right now. What criticism do you think is fair?
It is fair to classify Jews as tribalistic, and that there are going to be times when Jews, certainly at least from a PR standpoint, it looks like we're either unwilling to acknowledge wrongdoing in the community, or we're unwilling to the greater world, to the secular world. There's a little bit of like a playing things close to chest and like keeping it in the community, because it's not all of us, but so many of us, our grandparents like went through the worst thing you can literally possibly go through, or our great grandparents or our great uncles ever met, loves the United States, is grateful to the United States because they've been so wonderful to us. We sense a tide shift, and although we have a lot of power, we still feel like the underdogs.
What about Rabbi Feldman from Notoria Carta? Anti-Zionist group, they'll burn the Israeli flag, protest the Palestinian conflict.
I mean, I certainly have no issue at all with a Jew who's being anti-Zionistic. I think the burning the flags goes a little bit far, because even me, who's like not Mr. Zionism at all, I have barely any connection to Israel. The Israeli flag for a lot of people we don't see the flag and think Bibi Netanyahu. We don't see the flag and think subjugating Palestinians. We see that flag and just think that's the country where Jews go, when that's like our country.
Malcolm X said that anybody that gives even a just criticism of the Jew is instantly labeled anti-Semite. What do you think about that?
I think people probably say the exact same thing about black people. I think every minority has that chip on their shoulder. I think every minority does. I'm Jewish. My friends are Jewish. You are welcome to criticize us. We'll call you out when we think it's being conspiratorial, and when it's some of it, if it's true, it's true. Like it's free speech, man.
Did you see Tyler Oliveira's video highlighting welfare
in
the Orthodox community?
I did. I saw parts of it. Yeah. Jews are not special in the fact that like if you're okay with calling out fraud, like in Minnesota, then you should be okay with calling out fraud if you see it in the Jewish community. But energy means a lot. Vibe means a lot. And I'm sitting down with you because I like your energy. I've met your team. You guys have good energy. It's good faith energy. Go watch that video. Tyler's coming in with like, you would have thought the rabbi just tried to suck his penis. Like he came in with some real anger, and like it was palpable. And yeah, maybe there were some Jews doing cover up, but do I believe some Jews commit fraud? Hell yeah, I do.
308. Uh-oh, dollar just dropped.
Where?
I'm gonna put this back in my pocket.
Give it.
Okay, tell the people who you are and what you do.
So my name is Yossi Farrow. I guess I'm well known for rapping Tefillin, which is like a Jewish prayer with the most powerful Jews in the world.
Name some people, the most powerful ones you've rapped.
So I've had the honor of rapping like billionaire hedge fund manager Bill Ackman. I've rapped with like music mogul Scooter Braun. I rapped with James Franco, the rapper Little Dicky, the president of Shopify, the CEO of GameStop.
Any Israeli government officials?
I've rapped with Yair Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu's son.
Heard he's just chilling in Miami right now.
I actually lives in Israel now. For a small period, he was living in Miami, and I got to catch him there. So Chabad came here in 1940 when the Lubavitcher Rebbe moved here from Russia. But before that, this was I think, the most Jewish neighborhood, definitely in New York, possibly in the entire United States. You had every type of Jew living here. All the Hasidic movements were based out of Crown Heights.
So being Jewish in America right now, what's going through your mind?
So I hear a lot of people like saying they're fearful, they're scared. Obviously, we see horrible attacks throughout the country. For example, what happened in Colorado last year, the governor's house in Pennsylvania, last week in Michigan. Obviously, there are things to be worried about, but personally, I really don't see it, thank God, in my day-to-day life. Like, I'm out and about. whether it's in New York, Miami, LA.
Can you feel that there's never been more interest and scrutiny amongst Jewish Americans with the young people in America? Right
Oh
now?
yeah, definitely online.
Do you think any of it is fair?
Give me an example, I'll tell you.
Brutality in Palestine.
Brutality in Palestine. So I'm not like a war expert or anything. From what I've seen and what I've heard, Israel takes the strongest effort to really minimize the brutality. And as you know, war is war. If you look at the combatants to civilian ratio, it's the lowest in any war ever. Like lower than World War II, lower than the Iraq War, etc.
Oh, wait, tunnel.
Oh, we got
tunnel.
100%.
You got anything down there we gotta check out?
Yeah, so basically every store keeps their inventory underground.
Oh, the inventory.
Yeah, every
Did you
single store.
participate in the tunnel digging at the 770 building?
Nah, digging was never my strong point in school. Okay, so we're here at Bellissimo Hats. So we're here with the owner, Yossi. Yossi, can you explain us what you do out here?
What do? We make beautiful custom hats. We have all the hats for like your standard Hasidic Jew, as well as like any other person around the world.
Can me and Tommy try on a cool hat?
Is this kind of like the fedora of the Jewish community?
Oh, definitely.
What is this community known for?
Community known for definitely helping people. It's a very open community. We're not afraid of the outside. So you rock up in here, we're very comfortable with you. Show you around. You want to be Jewish? It's a hard job. It's a big undertaking to take on a lot of the commandments. But we're open to you guys want to join. We don't really pull people in though. Like no one's trying to convince anybody to be Jewish.
I want to play a fun game. Is this person anti-Semitic?
Okay, fine, go.
Tucker Carlson.
Not sure. Probably.
Anti-Semite.
Yes.
Anti-Semite.
I think so.
No.
And Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, less so than his very dumb followers, but yes.
Anti-Semite.
I don't know. I don't know what he really believes. It's hard for me to pin down how genuine he is about anything, so I'm really not sure. I think he actually loves Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I would not be shocked if he converts someday.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to Nick Fuentes enough to make a determination.
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens, I think like saying is an anti-Semite would be like, would give her too much credit. She's, I think she's just like overall really like despicable.
No.
Yeah, probably.
Miss Rachel.
No.
Did you find it hurt the case of anti-Semitism that they even named her as a candidate to win?
I'm constantly embarrassed by other Jews' takes on anti-Semitism.
I don't know who that is.
She runs the children's show on YouTube that educates kids, and she supported a kid that got blown up in Gaza, and they called her an anti-Semite.
I mean, I don't really know about her. That sounds pretty bad. Anti-Semite is some bullshit made-up word. That was, somebody. It says something anti-Semitic. The Semites. What does that even mean? It's all a game, guys. It's all a game. It's good versus evil, guys. It always has been and always will be.
That's a tough one. I think she's just ill-informed.
Okay. Tough one. Do you think naming Miss Rachel as an anti-Semite weakens the cause?
It's a good question. There are reasons to think that she's an anti-Semite. There's reasons to point out that she possibly could be an anti-Semite.
What is that?
I would lean towards the favorability. And there's a thing in Judaism called Dan L'Kavschus. Always look for the good in someone. So if there's a way that maybe she's just making a mistake and whatever, then we would lean to the good and say maybe she's just ill-informed.
I think a lot of these guys aren't even anti-Semites. They're following the money. Same
Yeah.
with like a lot of, no offense to YouTubers.
But people say this is for the clicks, but undoubtedly these topics are forefront on young Americans' minds right now. No doubt about it.
Thanks to the clicks. Yeah, I guess.
No. It's because of what we see our foreign policy looking like.
I guess.
When we are bombing Iran, when it feels like it's on behalf of Israel, that's what we feel, a lot of young people. You don't think this is going to lead to war all over the Middle East?
With who?
I mean,
Who's coming to Iran's side?
If Russia or China get into the fray, it gets really serious. If the entire Middle East gets involved, it's really serious.
As we see, Russia's really busy at the moment. I don't think they got the resources to go into the Middle East right now. China, I think they have their eyes on one target and one target only.
Does it feel like a double standard, though, that, okay, if Iran kills an American, it's a really big deal, but an American gets beat to death by Israeli settlers, no big deal.
I've been in the car in the West Bank, and like they're chucking rocks at us, trying to hit our cars. We go to Hebron, which is like where the tomb of like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob is. Bulletproof buses usually. and there's already like a checkpoint like by the tomb, so like there's no business that got shut down or anything. There's like a small Jewish quarter, and then the rest of it's all Arab. So as we're like driving down the hills and whatever, these guys are chucking rocks at us, trying to break the windows, and like if God forbid like your bus like breaks down and like you run out of gas or something like that, like you're screwed. Like it's only if the IDF comes to save you.
Is it naive to think that we can live in a world where it's peace through kindness, peace through...
It's super naive, bro.
I don't know, though. I mean, kindness, when someone is really, really kind to you, do you ever want to do something bad to them?
If it was only me and you on the planet, it would be no problems at all, right? Some Jews are arrogant. Some Jews are going to be really nasty, man.
Like all people?
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, you know, in some cases more. If you run into a cluster that don't know how to act, it's really bad. But that's why I'm participating in it in a way to change that shit.
As I know that there's a lot of good Jews, I just wish the good Jewish people would feel capable to call out the bad ones, the Ben Gvirs, the Benjamin Netanyahus.
Yeah, man. Because he's in the military, and you know, I'm not a fan of Benjamin Netanyahu, but I think the fact that he's fucking everybody up like a fucking ruthless warlord, bro, is sometimes, you know, he's like a John Gotti, bro. Him and Trump are like mobsters right now that are keeping everybody quiet, dude, which is fantastic. A quiet neighborhood with big houses, just like, you know, in the stereotypes, the type of houses that the Jews would be building.
We are pulling up to the house of Trax's friend Benji the jeweler. Politically, he comes across as a right-wing Jew, and I know he practices Kabbalah, which is a mystical side of Judaism that has received a lot of attention from commentators like Vrilliam and Tucker Carlson. Here's what he had to say.
We are burning spices to honor Hashem, King of the universe. Basically, King Solomon was the supreme magus that all magic and all the mysticism stemmed from. It sets the mood for you to enter a meditative transic state where you can converse with Hashem. We are powerful when we have a common goal, which is to bring Hashem's house to this world, because there is the third temple, and it's created by God.
What evil do you see in the world right now?
Oh, what's going on in Iran? You know, they're killing people like crazy over there.
So do you think a preemptive strike by Israel was necessary?
We are the watchmen, you understand? We are on call. Israel is the pulse of the universe. You have to understand who you're dealing with. We are the chosen nation to come and protect the world.
So different, I think, Talmudic verses have been floating around the internet. One of them is that Jesus is reportedly burning an excrement in hell.
No, not excrement, in sperm. In a vat of sperm, he's boiling from all of the Jewish souls that were lost to Christianity.
The Talmud would have been much better off without that statement, but whatever.
It was about midnight and we turned the cameras off to end the interview and smoke a joint laced with resin. Then, after I got extremely high, Benji made the wild suggestion that we actually roll the cameras and continue the adventure to visit arguably the most sacred site of the Chabad Lubavitch community, the grave of Rebbe Schneerson, who was one of the most influential Jews of the 20th century. As Trax NYC was driving to the synagogue, it occurred to me that it might be a bad idea to show up Blaze to a religious place that would be filled with families and kids of all ages. But Benji, also Blaze, assured me that I would be welcome, and well, this is what happened next.
Let them know when to film and whatnot.
If you can't hide it,
maybe it would be better to do like filming for this?
And maybe some eyeglasses clips. What's up, brother? How are you?
All of you goy watching at home, you're welcome to come on down.
Here at the Rebbe's grave, Benji offered to pray over me. He said some very nice things. We gave each other a hug, and then we went on with our night.
I think it's remarkable when people can focus on God, focus on community, focus on good values. But there's this weird disconnect. We're really in the world right now. We're seeing horrific things in front of our eyes, and then you get brought to a place where it's like, oh, we're about the peace, and everything is a contradiction. That's just any religion is to simultaneously leave this and be like, yeah, Ben Gvir is my hero. Like, I really like what he's doing in the world. It just is, to me, feels like a disconnect.
Shout out to Ben.
Can you tell us what was going on in this?
This man had a major impact on the Jewish society and community. He was able to accomplish and unify a lot of Jewish people.
For the uninitiated, it feels like a strange experience. I mean, when it's your religion, it feels normal when you're there. But this is something that watching, you're kind of like, this seems foreign, it seems different. Get the Epstein in there. So I feel the peace in there, I feel the family, I feel the community. And then I hear from you like, oh, I like guys like Ben Gvir. It feels like it just...
I like Itamar Ben-Gvir, even though he's very right-wing.
You're a bigger fan of Ben Gvir?
I'm a very big fan of Ben Gvir. I tell you, he gets a lot of bad press, but if you've been following him since day one...
He armed Israeli settlers with American guns to go ravage over people in the West Bank.
No, they defend themselves. Listen, they do.
Against international law.
Everybody has the right to bear arms.
Did you have a right to beat people over the head that are farming? Did you have the right to torture their animals?
Listen, I'm not responsible for their actions, and I wasn't there. I understand that you're angry about people's differences, but in reality, you have to understand these people run up on us. They killed in cold blood.
I think you have to look at who's the main aggressor.
So that's your opinion, who the main aggressor.
All right, we figured it out.
In
We don't know who the
reality,
main
you know what?
aggressor
We're not there. We can't judge because we weren't there. We did not see.
The main aggressor is the Jews, boys. Come on.
The duality of man, folks. Now we're just cruising in the whip down a New York street. Cruising. Grooving.
Spiritual high.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you. Rabbi, there are a lot of things floating around the internet, and I thought the best thing to do would be go in person and get things from the source.
I wanted to ask these controversial questions to a man that could help us find common ground. This is Rabbi Shais Taub. He is widely respected, has a massive social media platform, and people love him for the wisdom he exudes on his page. Here were his takes on my questions.
Okay, first question. What the heck was going on in those tunnels? They were not tunnels, but I know how it started to be called tunnels. They were trying to expand the synagogue, and the whole synagogue is basically a basement synagogue. That's where it's built. So everything there is underground. And they bashed a big hole in the wall to connect it to another property that's also underground. And needless to say, our own community was outraged that they were taking it upon themselves to smash open walls in a place of worship. So one of our own websites, meaning a local website, called it a tunnel, a sort of like, no pun intended, a dig, like to say, look, these guys are so crazy, they're making tunnels. Unfortunately, that makes really good conspiracy theory stuff, and people start saying, tunnels, tunnels, tunnels. The reality is, it was a hole in a wall between two underground properties, which was an attempted illegal, might I add, expansion.
I want to talk about the third temple.
Okay.
Does that involve Al-Aqsa going down for this third temple to come up?
Third temple is going to descend from heaven. Nobody's going in there and touching anything, okay?
So nothing needs to be destroyed for this prophecy to come true?
There's going to be something miraculous, so let's all wait and see. I mean, we believe that such a miracle will happen.
Do you think Americans have a right to be concerned about the level of Israeli influence on our government?
I think Americans have a right to know exactly who every elected official takes money from. And they should see if there's one source of funding that's more influential than others.
Please shoot me straight on this.
Okay.
Do you find these questions to be fair or outrageous?
No, not outrageous. It's what I would expect anybody who's online and sees the discussions that are going on. This is what's out there. By the way, I hope we continue some type of friendship. Yeah. And if you have my contact info, your producer has my info.
You can take me on a kosher date in Milwaukee. No homo though.
I will take you out. I'll take it the whole crew. We'll go out. Yeah. We're all paying separately. I'm joking. I'll treat, definitely. And you could even order dessert.
Whoa.
And drinks.
He's defying the stereotype.
That's not my intention. I'm just saying.
Hey, no, I had a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Folks, this is a video I'm very happy I did, and I was a little nervous to do so, but I'm never going to be afraid of chasing after truth. And the guys that I film with, many of them I'm still in contact with, gone out to dinner with. These are guys that I consider friends. And what they're gonna try and do, I think some people will slander me and say I'm an anti-Semite or a Jew hater, which couldn't be farther from the truth. To me, it's a ridiculous way to try and intimidate you into not asking questions. And let's be real, I think I barely scratched the surface of questions that I could ask the Orthodox community. I wanna actually take it another step further, and if they'll have me back, I want to go back to Crown Heights and do a part 2. But right now we have to look at the world and look at the Zionist Jewish agenda that is taking fold and really be concerned, and we should be asking questions. When you see Larry Ellison buying every media outlet that he can and put it under his Zionist umbrella, when you look at Trump's cabinet that has pushed us into the Iran war, you see the new federal chair, Kevin Marsh, who's in the Epstein files and whose father-in-law is the chair of the World Jewish Congress. I mean, these are questions that are invading our everyday life, and we have a right to know the truth and a right to chase after the truth. Happy we did this. Hopefully I still have a Patreon. Hopefully I still have a YouTube channel, but I will never stop this quest for the truth. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you next week.
We're essentially building the digital prison of the future, a system that knows you better than you know you.
Why do we need to bury family farms and make fortunes for some people and steal fortunes from other people? It doesn't make sense.
Get out of the way, Chief. Nope, get out of the way. You work for us.
Blissfully ignorant of local politics until Microsoft showed up in my backyard.
And I wanted to talk about how we were using an Israeli cybersecurity company to monitor all employee communications.
I think AI will probably, most likely, sort of lead to the end of the world.
That creepy quote is from big tech CEO Sam Altman, whose company OpenAI is one of the biggest names in artificial intelligence. Folks, when you look around the country, it appears the majority of citizens are against data centers moving into their town.
Not now, not ever.
Whether through song,
Not here, not anywhere.
Protests against an AI data center in Union County, New Jersey.
Yet despite this, there are hundreds of them springing up around the nation. Now, here's what big tech executives are telling us on why we should be welcoming data centers into our communities.
We are going to be the dominant player, or China's going to be the dominant player, and there will just be very different rules depending on who wins.
Powering the AI revolution, while also advancing a more reliable, affordable, and clean power grid.
Everybody's ChatGPT, everybody gets it for free, and everybody has access to just this crazy thing such that everybody can be more productive, make way more money.
AI is the biggest technical thing ever in my lifetime. I mean, it is so profound.
However, for many Americans, there is a growing suspicion that they will be the ones to foot the bill for this endeavor while big tech rakes in the reward and profits. And if this data center bet goes wrong, the downsides could be catastrophic. It could mean the destruction of our drinking water supply, the collapse of our already weakened electrical grids, massive price hikes on our monthly utility bills, and giving the government the power of extreme mass surveillance. And the list goes on. So with much on the line, I decided to travel across the country to understand this data center tsunami that is coming our way. So let's begin. But first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's episode. Folks, for this documentary, we've been on the road, a lot of road trips in Wisconsin and multiple states to all make this happen. And sometimes being on the road makes making documentaries difficult. Let me pull over and show you guys what I'm talking about. So if I'm just on the road and all I have is my laptop, when I'm working with really big files, like when we got these covert shots of this data center in Texas, using AnyDesk, because I can use my laptop as a portal to go into the work computer and operate from there, which makes things easy. Or another scenario, I want to see the footage of the town hall where a lot of people are really angry about data centers. Well, it's on Miguel's computer. So I can use AnyDesk from my laptop to go into his, and now I can access that file and start getting to work. One thing that's cool about AnyDesk is they work with a lot of anti-scammer channels like Scammer Payback and Jim Browning. The capabilities AnyDesk has can help me in my operation. Whatever mission you are on back home watching this, if there's something that can help, it is free for personal use, and they have custom pricing options if you are a business. Click my link in the description to get started. We gotta hit the road here. There's so much you gotta see. This data center story is huge, and you gotta learn all about it. Let's get to it.
Right now, Microsoft is building a massive new AI data center right here in Wisconsin, a project that could soon impact all of us.
We're pulling into a Wisconsin farmhouse that has been negatively impacted by this nearby data center. We're gonna get their story. And just remember, what's happening to this family could happen to you, could happen to your family members that live out in the country. I think rural people are being disproportionately affected by this crisis. Folks, a data center is a massive industrial warehouse filled with thousands of computer servers that store and process digital information. These facilities serve as the backbone of the internet, making everything from streaming video to now artificial intelligence possible. And to begin this episode, we visit farmers in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, where almost a stone's throw away from their house, Meta began building $1 billion data center. And well, that's when the trouble began to start. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
Sure.
Good to see you, brother. How are you?
Yeah.
Charlie Behrens is a beloved Wisconsin comedian and Emmy-winning journalist who has been traveling the state and speaking at rallies to help locals fight against data centers. Today, we join forces in Beaver Dam.
How long has this been in the family?
It's been in the Frank family since 1974. This farm has been established here for over 150 years.
When did you notice something was amiss in this house?
The main thing was probably right around the end of February. You know, we're turning on the faucets. The water is kind of discolored. It's not real great. Then we had nothing for water. We got someone out to take a look at the well, and then they declared it a dry well. You know, you're looking at either digging that well deeper or digging a whole new well, which could run you $20,000, $25,000, depending on how deep you need to go.
Folks, let's look at the scale of data center water usage. A single large data center can consume up to 5 million gallons of water a day, which is equivalent to the daily water consumption of a town of 50,000 people. Also, roughly 2/3 of all new data centers being constructed are located in regions facing severe water shortages. In fact, some of our key country's water basins are at risk. The Colorado River, which 40 million people depend on, is being targeted by data centers despite the river already being in the midst of a 2-decade drought. The water levels of the Great Salt Lake in Utah are so low that residents are scared they will be facing dust storms. And in Wisconsin, where developers say they will funnel heated data center wastewater back into Lake Michigan, people are concerned that these elevated water temperatures may destroy the local ecosystems. So for many, these risks to our fresh water supplies don't seem to be worth it. Tell me in the comments what you think.
At this point, are you worried about the quality of your own drinking water?
We've stopped drinking our water.
Who do you call in this situation?
I don't know. You know, we started out with our local city council, who seems to have no interest in anything that's going on in this township.
Have you tried contacting a lawyer?
Yeah, my husband did some calling around, and there wasn't a single one that wanted to talk to us about any of this.
Why do you think that is?
Does anybody want to take on $1 billion, you know?
Another Microsoft data center possibly coming to southeast Wisconsin. For the last several months, the Village of Caledonia board's been discussing proposals for a data center there.
Prescott Balch. I live in Caledonia. I was part of the group that pushed back on the Microsoft data center in Caledonia.
Not because we're opposed to development, and we're in favor of maintaining the beauty and rural nature of this village.
The first thing that you notice when you look at these proposals is every single one of them is in a small town. They're doing that because the land is cheap and they can find proximity to power, which is the key attribute. A small town is no match for a Fortune 50 company when it comes to negotiating terms. And many of these small towns are desperate for some growth. They're desperate for some economic activity, and they get wined and dined and shown big giant numbers that they can only dream of. And they just want to figure out how to make the best deal as fast as possible, get it approved, and start reaping the rewards.
Across the country, we are hearing reports of people being distressed by the noise that these data centers are making. From Wisconsin,
it's just a high-pitched drone sound. I can hear it inside my house, and that's what concerns me.
To Mississippi.
For months now, this is the sound communities near the plant hear.
To Arizona.
Neighbors say you'll start to hear a really irritating noise that you can't ever unhear.
This constant noise is driving some people crazy, and it has another sick side effect. It makes it nearly impossible for people to sell their homes, because at the end of the day, who would want to live next to a data center that puts out a relentless 24/7 hum?
It makes me feel like we just don't matter.
Your well that you've lived on for decades, it goes dry. Another company that moved in that doesn't even live here gets the access. It's feeling really Israeli in tactics to me. The water is what keeps a family going, and if we're willing to knock that off for families, we're even signing ourselves up for. After all, if we don't have water, what do we have to live?
My name is Ben Green. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Michigan School of Information and the Ford School of Public Policy. So data centers use a lot of water, primarily for cooling. You know, developers will talk about things like closed loop systems. I think that does reduce the water use of the cooling. What I've seen is more than half of the water use of a data center is not directly in the cooling, but is in the generation of the electricity in a power plant that is then used to power the data center, provide the electricity for it.
And as these spurt up around the country and more of them grow, what are the potential implications on our water supply of this?
These data centers are just generally draining the water supply and could lead to issues where, there's not enough water, and it's like, does the data center get water first? If there's a drought and people are being told to limit their water intake, not to water their lawns and so on, are data centers actually receiving that same limitation? Probably not.
Wisconsin is the largest freshwater resources of any state in the country. And there's a reason data centers are popping up close to these resources is because they need massive amounts of water. And they can use like 3 to 5 million gallons of water a day. And companies will tout a closed loop cooling system. We really don't know what this closed loop cooling system is actually going to mean for water use for these sites, or what happens to the water after it's gone through the closed loop.
What is leading you to become a whistleblower?
Some practices that I don't agree with.
I was approached by a whistleblower who has worked with the biggest data center companies in the world, including Meta and Amazon Web Services. Because he is still actively employed by one of these tech giants, he needed to remain completely anonymous, but what he said is chilling.
We're building the security apparatus that spies on every American. We're essentially building the digital prison of the future. A system that knows you better than you know you.
Do you think we have something to worry about as far as water consumption from the data center?
Yes, unfavorable billing practices. My company pays close to $250,000 per year in water usage. Every single day, we put almost 100,000 gallons of water into the atmosphere. And I wanted to talk about how we were using an Israeli cybersecurity company to monitor all employee communications and all of the status of our equipment.
Do you know what company that was?
The company's name is Check Point.
This is Check Point co-founder Shlomo Kramer. He's an Israeli cybersecurity entrepreneur who served in the IDF's notorious Unit 8200, which is the equivalent of America's NSA and is Israel's most elite cyber warfare group. Here's what he said on national television about free speech in the United States.
It's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it.
This Tel Aviv-based company is used by every single one of the top 50 companies in the Fortune 500, and with Kramer's attitude on free speech, his direct ties back to Unit 8200, and Israel's stranglehold elsewhere in this country, I can't help but feel concerned when a company connected to a foreign spy agency is acting as the cybersecurity gatekeeper for almost every major corporation in America.
I'm John Mazzarella. I own and operate Coastal Crypto. It's a data center mining operation facility.
To get the other side of the coin, we sit down with John Mazzarella. He's the owner of Coastal Crypto, a company which repurposes old industrial sites into crypto mining data centers. Here's what he had to say.
We tried to take a different approach to it. We saw that there was a lot of abandoned power, failing grid systems, buildings that were just vacant for years. Big issue right now with Google in my area is how much water they're going to consume. And they're saying it's proprietary information. I'm sure some of it's proprietary. I don't put that by them, but let's open up the doors a little bit. Why are we using so much water? Well, what kind of situations are we using with the water? Because there's water that gets recycled, there's water that gets captured, there's water that gets evaporated. What kind of impact is their water usage actually going to have to that local economy? That information needs to be divulged.
The physical building will last nearly forever. It's concrete and steel, and they last a long time. They are very unique buildings. They're not like warehouses. They're not like office buildings. They don't have windows. They don't have tall ceilings. The historical average over the last 40 years is that a data center is good for 15 to 25 years, and then the technology change catches up with it, and it's not economically viable to retrofit it with the latest. The future reuse possibilities are limited. I don't think any of these municipalities looking into this are thinking about that risk.
The local political people are enjoying the influx of money, and there's a lot of local people who are enjoying the influx of money. Nobody wants to even hear the local people who are paying the price.
Let's wrap our heads around why, despite widespread citizen protest, local government officials continue to push through data centers. One big reason is the absolutely real boom of construction jobs, and the other is the pledge of massive tax revenue. Now, in places like Loudoun County, Virginia, estimates project that over $1 billion in taxes is coming to the county budget by taxing the servers inside the data centers. But for most other towns, this gets a little murky. You see, developers use a loophole called a TIF, which is a tax incentive that essentially takes the new promised property property taxes and recycles them right back to pay for the data center's own infrastructure. So on paper, the town looks like it's getting rich, but in reality, it's not the citizens who benefit, it's just another tax break for big tech.
I just want that money so badly. I want that revenue. I want to be able to get the new construction on my books so that I have a higher valuation so that I can raise taxes for the village and not raise taxes on each individual, because I've got this big taxpayer providing a big slug of new money. But like all things too good to be true, because of those risks, they're outsized risks.
Most of the stories I see about data centers are about citizens losing the fight. But then I got wind of news out of Tucson, Arizona, where the citizens organized, fought back, and won. This is local leader Jennifer, and she tells us how.
My name is Jennifer Allen. I am the District 3 Supervisor and Vice Chair of the Pima County Board of Supervisors. We had been told on the Board of Supervisors that there was a project kind of being cooked up called Project Blue. We were not given much information at all, not until right up before the vote that we took to approve it. We were told that we couldn't get much more information because of a non-disclosure agreement, but we were also told that we couldn't talk about it because of a non-disclosure agreement.
Another concerning aspect of data centers is the standard practice of imposing NDAs that prevent locals from knowing key details that impact their own city. For example, in the town of The Dalles in Oregon, Google built massive data centers there, and the local government, bound by an NDA, refused to tell the public how much water Google was using. After a prolonged legal battle and a lawsuit led by the town's local newspaper, The Oregonian, the city was forced to release these records, and it turns out that these data centers were using over a quarter of the city's water supply. And folks, it's stories like this that increase people's paranoia around data centers when on one hand, big tech tells us that there's nothing to worry about, but on the other hand, they silence local officials and keep the usage around town resources secret from the very people that live there.
We sat in near silence and in the dark until Beal, the developer of Project Blue, gave a more comprehensive-ish presentation to the board. When it was first proposed, it was going to be a water-cooled system, meaning they were just going to keep pumping water, tens of thousands of gallons of water every day. We're a desert. We live in a beautiful desert, a lush desert, but it is a desert no less, with increasingly extreme heat, with longer periods of drought. We simply cannot sustain water-hungry industries like data centers.
Our water situation here is vastly different than it used to be. Our property values are probably actively tanking as we stand here and talk. But you look around here, there's no standing water anywhere. You drive to Fond du Lac and look in the fields on your way back towards Green Bay. There's water everywhere.
Does it feel like a hostile takeover of your own land and water?
It feels like a hostile takeover of my township. Why do we need to bury family farms and make fortunes for some people and steal fortunes from other people so cats can wear hats? It doesn't make sense.
So while farmers in Beaver Dam are worried about their wells running dry due to Meta's data center, 90 miles away in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, Microsoft has moved in. And Prescott explains how locals are worried about a massive tax increase coming their way.
Mount Pleasant puts $1 billion of new valuation on their books, which equals 17% increase in their total valuation. That meant they could raise their taxes 17%. Well, they chose to only raise it 8% and then hid that increase behind some other line item reductions to sort of hide it from the community members. The developer of the data center does not start contributing to that general fund until that tax increment district is closed out. Microsoft, in the case of Mount Pleasant, is not paying a dime towards that 8% increase. That is coming on the backs of every person in Mount Pleasant.
If we don't start standing up for what is right, this is going to continue forever until it's too late.
They're operating as a business. They have a lot of negotiating power when they're choosing these sites, and they get tax exemptions when they do so. They're not playing by the rules that you and I have to play by.
That's what the water looks like. And if the mayor of Beaver Dam wants to come drink it, she can. So at this point, it's completely contaminated. For sure.
So all this sand
just came out of that faucet, yeah.
And that never happened before?
No. Anybody want a drink?
Not fast.
What you see here is sand and sediment in Scott's water. And if you've seen AOC's viral clip talking about Georgia drinking water, you've seen this before.
This is what the drinking water now looks like next to that data center. And I think both of us can agree that neither one of these things are drinkable.
For people near data centers, this can happen, and it's for two main reasons. First is the heavy construction shaking up the local water table, and second is because of the vacuum-like pressure that comes when a data center is sucking millions of gallons of the town's water supply. Now, sand is obviously bad, but for those even more unlucky, they're worried about losing their water supply altogether. How long have you been out of a job?
It's probably been about a good year.
And how long did you work on the data center?
About 4, going on 5 years.
5? Wow.
Yeah.
So this project has been in development for a long time.
Yeah, it was all over the newspapers before they were even here. You know, just because everybody was so excited because it was bringing jobs and work and just things like that.
It does bring jobs initially, but as soon as it's done and built, then it's kind of...
Yeah.
And so it's built, functioning, and there's no more...
It basically runs itself, and you don't need that many people, you know, after you build everything.
How well did they pay people to work on this project?
At first, it was barely like $14, $15. As of now, they pay people pretty good because they don't have as many people.
Is water plentiful in these parts?
You can see they've almost dried out this section of the lake right here.
Folks, behind me right now is the body of water that cools these data centers. And if you look over here, this is a lake that 5 years ago was full and now it is dried up. And I think it's fair to ask ourselves and be afraid, are these water sources going to be dried up in 5 years, 10 years? And what are the implications on our everyday life when that happens? Will we be regulated to showering on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays while these data companies get full usage of our water? Will this clean water turn into toxic water? Will it creep through into our aquifers and water tables? And at what cost to the average person will these operations have? And the problem is that when you try and dig into these matters, oftentimes these are classified things protected by NDAs because it's company secret, company information. And we as the people, I think, have a right to know what direction this is headed, especially if it's our water supply, and one of the most basic things that we need to live. Folks, it may sound like I'm being overly dramatic, but you have to know what is happening behind closed doors. Across the country, data centers are making extremely lopsided, secretive deals with local governments that border on predatory. In many of these arrangements, data centers lock in massive water and power contracts that are shielded from the public eye. And because they get special wholesale rates, mega corporations often pay less for water and power than you do in your own town. Some states, like Wisconsin, are fighting back and requiring data centers to cover their costs, but in most cases, citizens pay the price, like in Virginia, where electricity prices have increased by over 267% in the last 5 years. Does the town feel like this is a benefit to the community?
As far as having a job, maybe.
How do you feel about all this?
I kind of got a sore spot in my throat for it because of what I went through, but then when I was, making money with them, it was a good thing.
A lot of Americans, we fear that with this AI growth and this data center growth, that a lot of jobs will be replaced with AI, leaving a lot of people jobless while we have these really rich people at the top getting even more rich.
I could believe it because at this point, if you're not building more like they are, it basically runs itself. And the only thing you have to do is maintenance.
One of the biggest red flags is that we the people are going to be screwed by these deals.
Yes, your water bill will go up about 100% over a period of time. I'm not sure.
2 years, 5 years?
Probably about 5 years. But the data center will pay the same amount every year for their water usage and power usage because they're viewed as essential.
These are the richest people in the world. I mean, we're talking about Larry Ellison in Port Washington, who's the second richest man on earth.
How did these folks end up getting reserved spots if they're not in yet?
That's the scene there. Hundreds of trucks moving tons of dirt. It's the sound Port Washington residents have been listening to 24/7. Work being done day and night.
We own this building. We're the taxpayers. Hey, you work for us. Get it?
What you are seeing is concerned citizens trying to attend their city council meeting about data centers, but being told there's not enough room. So instead, they are pushed off into a separate area with no face-to-face contact with the city decision makers.
Is it full in there?
It's full. Yes.
And in one of the the last Port Washington meetings, local resident Christine was forcibly removed by police.
Get off of me! Get off of me!
A Port Washington City Council meeting turned into a shouting match, ending with 3 people arrested on Tuesday. All of it because of a recently approved data center.
Get out of the way, Chief. Nope, get out of the way.
We cannot speak for all of you, but we will try and speak for you.
Thank you. This is outrageous. Yeah, thank you.
At this point, the question is not whether opposition exists. It clearly does. The question is whether this council is willing to acknowledge risk, accept responsibility, and change course when warranted.
I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I genuinely believe these the data centers and AI in and of itself could potentially be cataclysmic economically. Like, the people of Port Washington are immensely frustrated, as millions of Americans are across the country, because we don't want these technocrats swooping into our communities to steal all of our resources so that they can eventually take our jobs. We don't have the ability to live the American dream. It's essentially been stolen from us. All of these issues kind of compound on one another, and it's leading to a generation of apathetic, disillusioned, and frankly disinterested individuals who don't want to be members of a democratic society anymore.
It's like $15 billion into this Port Washington data center to create, what, 100 jobs?
By my calculations, if Port Washington takes the full amount of the new construction, their taxes will increase 50%. The city taxes will increase 50% over the course of the next probably 7 or 8 years. I think you should tell people that. Tell people that's your plan, and then see how excited they are about it.
Amanda Mueller lives a half mile from the site.
Right now it's very bright. We call it the land of the midnight sun. You can't see the stars anymore.
City officials say working overnight means the build-out will be done and the city will see tax benefits sooner. But this group isn't holding their breath.
Hundreds of people just started showing up and expressing lots of concerns about the use of water and energy and the costs. And that momentum just kept growing and growing, and they were successful in getting the city of Tucson to back out and to agree not to annex the property, which meant that Beale was stuck with our 290 acres, and all this plan that they had cooked up just fell flat. Knowing what we know now, I wish we'd had all of those things in place before, so that we would have had greater opportunity to stop the project, a lot more information, a lot more transparency, and just tools for community to be involved and draw the line.
Initially, when we interviewed Jennifer out in Tucson, it was a victory story. The people had shut down and the city council had shut down a data center coming to town. But I just saw an update that the Arizona Corporation Commission is trying to push it through despite the will of the people. And so it's not looking like a victory for the people, it's looking like a victory for big tech. We'll see how the story continues. What are the revenue streams from a data center?
They are humongous. So, for example, if I plug in one server to another, that is $300 per month from that just one fiber connection. Now, there are millions of fiber connections inside of every single data center. The numbers are so large that you can't even comprehend how much money it is.
Right now, all over the country, big tech is offering individual farmers tens of millions of dollars for their land and spending billions on construction. And you might be wondering, how will they be making all this money back? Because yes, they make subscription money by charging people $20 a month for ChatGPT, or they sell massive corporations AI software packages, and this does bring in a good chunk of change. But in reality, this money does not make a dent in what they are currently spending. Essentially, these tech companies are making a giant gamble to become the AI superpower of the future, which to them is a trillions of dollars winner takes all race. And if this bet does not pay off, the crash of this AI bubble will be felt globally. In fact, some experts warn that a collapse would wipe out as much of $33 trillion in market value, and this would plunge the stock market by as much as 40 to 60%. Yikes.
What do you see as the biggest misconceptions that a lot of people who are up in arms have about these data centers?
Again, it's educating on these smaller details. Internet. I'm not tapping into the town's, fiber line. I'm bringing in my own. I'm not pulling residual power from the town. I'm, increasing the consumption of power for the town, or I'm increasing the grid structure. So I'm not stealing anything. I'm not taking away from somebody that could use it. I'm trying to bring more infrastructure and stability to a grid system or a network system or a community that needs jobs.
What comes to your mind when you see all this?
I mean, a big metaphor, a huge metaphor, a giant hulking carcass of a metaphor of industry that used to be built by American workers, by men using their hands with skills, trades, And obviously this was built by workers, but now, we're talking to one of them that kind of got discarded. There's a bunch of reporting on how they promised 300 jobs and actually wound up hiring 14.
And these billion-dollar facilities only employ 100 people, some of them security staff, some of them janitorial staff, but they will claim that they bring 1,000 jobs or more to the area per building. But that's not the case. They use contractors that travel from outside the locality, and all of these jobs are not permanent jobs.
Their main workforce is the minor maintenance, what I was saying. Once the computers go down, they bring them in racks, and they just refurbish them.
And how long until it's robots maintaining them? How long until it's like a Tesla bot just walking around, just changing racks, checking switches?
And you probably could automate that like a car, like an assembly line.
If this giant carcass of a building isn't the perfect metaphor for what's happening all around America with these data centers, I don't know what is.
Kaiser, you've been looking into this extensively for the last 3 or 4 years. Tell me about that.
So it used to be warehouses it started with development in Bensenville, Illinois.
Kaiser runs a YouTube channel called Stringer Media, and he's been spending the last few years going around the country covering communities that have been taken over by data centers. Today, we see what Microsoft has done in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Essentially, a warehouse developer bought all of these people's homes. Perfectly nice houses. One day they're there, next they're gone.
You go from a functioning community to an industrial wasteland.
Yeah, everybody's just gone. So I could take you to a street that's been bought out.
To me, what I think of when I look at a place like this is, look, a nice little yard. Kids could play in the prairie. There was a bird feeder. There was a family here that had a great time, but we're in a time where a lot of people are economically pinched, and if you come to someone's doorstep and offer them way over market, a lot of people are in a position where they kind of have to take it, or they feel like that's their ticket to a future in America. And I think if we were in more prosperous times, or the middle class was stronger, the data centers wouldn't have as much luck as they are emptying out these neighborhoods as they are right now.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Most of these houses were older people. It's a lot of money. They probably had these houses before even the highway was here. These warehouses and data centers might be abandoned along the line. Maybe they're obsolete.
Actually, a pretty likely option is that we're going to be left with these giant shelves of buildings that in most of these agreements the companies are not responsible for taking care of, and it's going to be the people that have to deal with them, and they're not easy spaces to convert into human spaces again.
It's one of those gold rushes, Everyone's trying to hop on the money, just do as much as they can, and eventually maybe it'll die down or something like that. And then what are you left with? Just destroyed nature and empty buildings.
Some people might say, if you're against data centers, you're against progress, and that's anti-American.
I mean, there's a strong current of that, but I disagree. I think it's very American to want to say, we don't want to just have monopolistic overlords. We care about our communities. We want to have local community voice is very important, very American. AI is being dominated and developed by a handful of companies that do not care about the public interest. And so the types of AI that they're going to develop are not going to be utopian things. They're going to, develop tools that are not very helpful, that put workers out of jobs, kind of poisoning kids' brains, stopping people from learning. Some people might call that innovation, but to me, that's just bad.
Look, the average American should be locked into what AI and what data centers are going to do in their lives. I think 30 million jobs in the coming years that we're going to see lost from AI. Keep an eye on your community zoning. What I'll say is there are little signs or signals that will pop up when data centers are about to move in.
Follow Elon Musk at all. He's all about data centers going to space. So I'm all for it if that's the case, if that's where they go, 100%. But you're still going to need some kind of position on Earth for them to be transmitting the data back and forth. Biggest advice or recommendation I can give to anybody is just do your research. If I have the answers, I'll try to answer them. If I don't have the answers, I'll help you research them myself. Hopefully form up an opinion based on fact, not emotion.
I am really nervous watching this data center story develop. It feels like it's out of control, but I do have to say I am a bit of a hypocrite because I use AI day to day. I use it to edit my writing. I use it to source research. It's truly an amazing tool. But to me, it's key that this is done sustainably. We have to prioritize people, their homes, their communities, their resources first before big tech. And right now it feels like big tech is just getting the seat at the table and we the people are shunted off to the side and our leaders, both local and national, don't give a shit about us. It's a troubling trend because right now they're trying to keep AI from being regulated for 10 years with the big, beautiful bill. And that could be disastrous. And I don't know about you, but I want a world that not only are you and me proud to live in, but that we can give to our kids. That is our duty. We need to do that. And to think that's even something that we might not do is outrageous. So I look at history, I look at presidents like Teddy Roosevelt that made the national parks, that loved nature and went after big business when it was necessary. And I look at what's happening in current day, and it feels like we're dealing with people that don't even go outside, don't smell flowers, don't touch grass, and don't care about our kids' future. And I don't like that at all. So we have to fight, guys. You have to organize locally, you have to get informed, and we can win this battle because just remember the Bug's Life movie, the ants outnumber the grasshoppers. So always keep hope, keep that in mind, keep fighting the good fight, and I'll see you next week. Peace. What are the true environmental risks of doing something like this?
You're putting piping into the earth. Mother Nature is unforgiving. She's a bitch that can reward you or she can take it all from you.
And you're telling me this is going more than a mile into the earth?
That's going 9,500 feet into the earth.
Most people don't make it more than a couple days. After 2-3 days, you'll know if you want to do this or not.
You're gonna go up there and you're gonna assist the derrick cans.
Hey, hold on to that, bro. All the way up.
Holy fucking shit.
We have just less than $3 million in this field, and it's making 6 figures a month profit.
This, folks, is one of the highest fatality jobs on the planet. And out here on the rig, you are working on top of a highly pressurized well that could explode at any second. We're talking about over 80 backbreaking hours a week, risking life and limb to wrestle pipe and produce liquid gold. Today, a rowdy Texas entrepreneur named Brent Franklin takes us to experience one of the most dirty and dangerous jobs there is, the oil fields. Let's get to it, but first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's episode. Folks, there's a great shift happening right now, and it's coming in the form of an AI wave. Right now, there are models that can process entire databases, AI agents that can do tasks while you sleep. And if you're not using this technology to your advantage, you might be left behind. And that's why I want to talk to you about Outskill, the world's first AI-focused education platform. And it's already impacted 10 million people across 100 countries. Here's what's happening this weekend. Outskill is running a 2-day, 16-hour mastermind, and it's led by practitioners from companies like NVIDIA, Microsoft. These are the people that are actually leading the charge when it comes to this AI revolution. They're going to show you how to build AI agents that can plan, execute, and report to you. And they're going to show you how to connect your tools into systems that can print for you around the clock. And folks, this mastermind is free to join. On top of that, if you register now, you'll unlock $5,000 worth of bonuses, including an AI prompt Bible, a personalized toolkit builder, and a roadmap to profit through AI. Now, according to Trustpilot, 93% of the people that have tried Outskill have given them a 5-star review. Folks, click the link below or hit this QR code right here to register for this mastermind. Remember, folks, knowledge is power. This is something you're going to want to learn because the change is coming whether we like it or not. And now, folks, back to the video. One show I grew up loving was Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs. And today we're going into a very rough job, the business of the Texas oil fields. It's dangerous, it's dirty, it's interesting, and there's a lot of money to be made. We're on a private airstrip right now. We're gonna be taking off on this plane right here. We're gonna be flying into the night to the Texas-Mexico border that I hear has some cartel influence to learn about the business of drilling oil, producing oil, what they call the upstream side of oil production. We have a great entrepreneur that's going to tell us his story, going from homeless to making it in the oil business. This is a Dirty Jobs Tommy G edition. We're going to be hitting it here.
All right, so a lot of people know of the oil field, but they don't know the in-depth side of it. What I'm hoping that Tommy gets to see is the real shit. This dude's a fucking OG. I want them to see what goes on behind everything, behind the pump. A lot of people think oil and gas prices, don't drill, oil's bad, fracking, yada, yada. I want people to know exactly how the fuck this works, how dangerous it is, and also how much fucking money it takes to become an oil tycoon. Plane's supposed to take off in 10 fucking minutes. We gotta go. You know, there's a lot of people that want to sleep in. For me, I'm excited about life. I'm excited about what's going on. I don't really need an alarm clock. You know, I really just love what I'm doing. So my name is Brent Franklin, and today I'm here with the world famous Tommy G. We're getting ready to go out to Zapata, Texas. Now, this is heart
I wish I had a
cartel
hat
country.
like you.
We actually were going to bring you a hat.
We got you a hard hat, though. We're going into cartel country.
We're going to cartel country. It actually used to be the gas capital of the United States, and now you're going to go out there. It's kind of a ghost town. It's been really, really heavily taken over by cartel, and we're one of the only drilling contractors down there.
Cool, let's roll.
Let's rock.
Going to be about an hour and 20 minutes getting down there. We've got another storm coming through. Just coming up above the border right now. By the time we get there, it's either going to be hitting about that time or just past through.
Let's rock and roll. You only worry if there's like hail or lightning, and by the time there's a problem, it's already too late. So, dime. Ya voy, una hora. All right, perfect. One thing that's super important about the oil field in Texas, a lot of people see oil money and they see the PJs and the private planes. It is so crucial to have an airplane if you're in the oil and gas business in Texas. A plane like this, about $2 million. It's a plane is absolutely necessary, so that's why we got 3 of them.
We'll see you guys on the ground. All right, it's 10 o'clock. What's next in this arrangement?
Well, we got to hop in some work trucks, and we're going to run out to the oil field. So we got about an hour run, and we're going to Zapata, Texas. So it's about an hour up the road. Check this out. Okay. Gotta get some extra rounds from the pilot. So we're just gonna put some bullets and swap over some hollow points just in case, because we're in Laredo.
Do people get kidnapped in
all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big human trafficking place.
All right, let's change out these steel toes that you have here, just so you're ready to go. We brought y'all some boots.
Thank you.
This is to release your inner redneck.
I'm too cheap to get cowboy boots for myself, but I was looking at them when I was on a trip the other day with my wife. This is like Christmas for me.
We have Richard talk to you a little bit about, what we're gonna encounter. Tell these guys a little bit about what we're about to go down on these roads.
We're probably a rock away from Mexico.
So I know a lot of people go on like YouTube and they say, hey, let's do this, but like, this is like the real tube. There's a reason ain't nobody drilling down here.
And we're gonna be getting there around midnight.
Yeah.
Hop in. All right, Tommy, welcome to South Texas.
I can already just feel it in the air. This is a cowboy, roughneck, gunslinging, oil digging type of area.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what we're about to do.
We're pulling into the oil rig. It's loud, it smells. So this is where fortunes are made, in Texas, the oil fields. We're in the middle of nowhere, and you have men here that are working 12s and 12s. All right, so around the clock, this thing's goal is to flow oil and gas. If you do this properly, you can make a lot of money. If you do this the wrong way, you go bust. But let's go check out and see what's happening over here.
Go get them FRs, get them geared up real quick.
Yeah. It's good to go.
Blue 42!
Have you ever heard two turtles? It's good. Let's go.
Are there guys sleeping in here right now?
Absolutely. All right, so this is inside our van camp. So this is where everybody lives. We got a couple refrigerators in here, running water, AC, everything's good. Half the crew sleeps on one side, half the crew sleeps on the other. We got morning
so they don't
tower.
wake each other up.
Yeah, you got daylight, morning tower. So the lights are off in there, so they're probably sleeping in here. We put you inside. So here's your rack up top, ready to go for you. Got a Tempur-Pedic egg carton. That way you get a nice little sleep. Shouldn't be too many bed bugs on here. These mattresses are relatively new. This is where the big boss lives, and this is where we run everything. So if you see over here behind on this computer, this tells us all kinds of things. It tells us our hook load. It tells us at what depth our bit is. It tells us our pace on gas. As you can see right now, we're just sitting there. We've got 104 units of gas. That means that we have gas that's coming up and it's being detected at the surface of what's going on. So there is some gas in that well already.
That's a good sign.
If oil is at $65 a barrel, you know, 1 barrel equals $65.
In February of 2026, oil was about $65 a barrel, and then the U.S.-Israel war in the Middle East began, and now as of this episode's release, about 3 months later, crude oil is trading at about $105 a barrel, which means that Brent has been making a killing.
Now, pop quiz. How many gallons are in a barrel?
50 or 60?
No. Every 42 gallons equals 1 barrel of oil. All right, so let's check out the kitchen. So this is where we get all the cooking done. So what we like to do is we like to cook for the crew. We got some beans over here for you, and we're gonna cook some steaks tonight. We've also got some fine groceries up in here. We've got your eggs, got your chocolates, lots of energy drinks is what people need. These are ribeye steaks. We're getting ready to throw these on the grill. I'm assuming y'all eat them medium well.
This is the type of white boys I really rock with.
Texas shit, bro. That's called a rare steak right there.
Yeah, that's rare.
Swallow it.
You know, you're the one that needs to swallow.
I actually started out as a roughneck. Whenever I got out of the Navy, I went out to Carlsbad, New Mexico, and I was working with a company called Capstar Drilling. It lasted a couple months, ended up getting in a fight with the driller, came home, started a landscape business. Landscape got into, you know, construction got into remodeling got into house flipping got into investing and lending, got into oil and gas, and I kind of full circled back. And I got into oil and gas, you know, but kind of like an accident. I was just looking for ways to use my money. You know, you start investing once you start learning how to use your money to make money and start trying to reduce your tax bill. You know, that's really why I got into it. And so why I'm boots on the ground is, man, number one is the respect for my guys. All this rig and equipment and shit doesn't fucking do anything if you don't have the people, and the people have to love where they work because they live here. And so we just try to give them the best that we can with what we have and what we can do. I was born to do this shit. I love fucking grease, hunting, being out in the country, grilling, and just doing big shit. And so it's like, this is home for me. Here's our guys down here right now, busting ass, working on getting the belt in. This is our secondary pump right here.
This is a dirty job.
This is a dirty job, bro.
Hard job.
This is a hard-ass job. You see all these men right here? These guys are up 12 hours at a time. Everything out here is fucking hard. It's circulating that mud through. We're circulating in the hole, that way it doesn't get clogged up. It shakes out the solids, puts it over there into our pit. You can see out there all the shit that we've gone through, and this is basically the drilling mud.
What things in our life do we not realize are because of oil and gas?
Everything. I mean, hard hats, paint, clothes. I mean, there's so many products. Makeup. I mean, think about everything you use every day. This is a commodity that will be needed forever by every single person. This is an oil rig. This is drilling an oil and gas well. The rig is the machinery that puts the well into the ground. Once we're done putting the well in and installing the pipe, we'll move this rig off and we'll move a completion rig in.
This is a drilling rig.
The drilling rig drills the well.
And you're telling me this is going more than a mile into the earth?
That's going 9,500 feet into the earth.
That's unbelievable.
Yes. Ready to go up on the rig?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
You know, I just gotta say, it's moments like this, on an oil rig, till almost 1 a.m. I love my job. It's a beautiful day, bro.
I love my job too, man. So this is the belt that we're changing out right now on our pump. Those belts broke. Those are $4,000 a piece. Yeah, so these guys, man, are top notch. Some of them came from West Texas. Some of them are guys from South Texas.
If I'm being honest, one of my weaknesses, I don't know how to fix anything in my house. So I would not be a good fit for a job like this. Anything that goes down that stops the operation, they have to tackle it as a team and get to work. And so I could see why the team environment aspect of this would be pretty exciting.
We can purchase these rigs for anywhere from $500,000 to $2 million. Put $500,000 to $1 million in it, and you've got a $7 to $10 million rig out here, the actual equipment. This shit is not for the weak at heart. It's not easy at all.
Some of these men are away from their families for 30, 40 days at a time.
Yeah, and you know, then they go home for 2 or 3, and then they're right back at it.
So 5:55, safety meeting, we're late, let's roll.
Top of the morning, brother.
Morning.
What job should I go report to?
Go up to the rig floor. Your driller will be Kevin. He'll line you out from there.
Okay, cool. What's your name, brother?
Kevin Ezagiri. Yes, sir.
So how long you been doing this?
I've been doing this since 2008.
Okay.
17 years.
What got you into it?
I was a driller by the time I was 23, and I've been doing it ever since then.
How long have you been away from your family at this point?
At this point, I've been out here for 34 days.
What is that like?
It's rough. I got 4 kids at home.
Like there's not a day off. It's back to back.
Back to back to back to back. Yes, sir.
Are you tired?
Oh, I'm tired. I'm wore out, but you got to keep going. You know what I mean?
And you go until the oil and gas are gone.
Until the well's done. Yeah.
And what do you do when you're off work?
I got a ranch. I got 48 acres. I like to hunt. I got a couple of trucks. I like to work on my trucks and spend time with my kids. I can't do a 9-to-5 job. It's all I've ever done. This is what I like to do. I like to be out here. And this is what I love to do. All right, so here we got the guys cleaning the floor. They'll be getting everything ready. Those are the snips right here. That's your drill pipe.
This looks like heavy shit.
Oh, they're heavy. That's about 150 pounds right there.
How does your body feel after doing this job for 18 years?
I'm 37 years old and I feel like I'm 47.
Where do you feel it the most?
My back and my knees.
What kind of stuff should we be aware of this morning to stay safe?
The main thing, look, safety mean we always talk about your pinch points. Make sure you watch where you put your hands. Your slip, trips, and falls. Make sure you watch where you're walking. And then your overhead loads. Main thing. Always look up. Most people don't make it more than a couple days. After 2-3 days, you'll know if you want to do this or not. People who need to work, always make it further than people who want to work. Because if you need to work, you need to keep your job. You have to take care of your job. People who want to work, they're just here because they want to work.
This is a very tough job. What keeps you doing this year after year?
And money, family.
If you couldn't do this, if you weren't doing this, what job would you be doing back home?
Diesel mechanic probably.
What happens if you want to take a day off?
You better let them know soon. There's people looking for work, you know what I mean? And if you want to go, somebody else is ready to take that position.
Do you ever miss important events back home?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, I've missed funerals, birthdays, Christmas and holidays, you know. Yeah, I've missed them.
Who's climbing to there? Let's roll. Whole rig's waiting on you, Tommy. You're gonna go up there and you're gonna assist the derrick hand. There's a guy up there with tripping pipe. You're gonna take the pipe, you're gonna rack it back. You're gonna unhook the pipe from the elevators. You'll learn when you get up there. Let's go.
Hey, hold on to that, bro. All the way up. Just hold on to it. Walk it up. I'll take it slow. I ain't gonna... Unless you wanna go on a ride.
No, just take them nice and steady. It's my first date, you know what I mean? A little bit more. Holy fucking shit. So you fill all of these slots with pipe. And what made you take this job all the way up here?
Money.
Do they pay more up here? They better damn pay more up here. Are you scared at all? How long you been doing this for?
This, roughly, I've been here.
Sometimes when you're on here, it moves, and that's when it gets uncomfortable. Oh, they got another drone over here too.
That's the Texas oil business, baby.
Let's get it. So just think, in 4 more hours, you'll earn one of these.
That's it?
All right, so what you're getting ready to do is you're getting ready to disconnect this pipe with these iron roughnecks. Forehand right here is about to show you how to operate them. They're all hydraulic. Those are your slips. You're gonna pull those after you disconnect on the next connection. Hop over here, get with this floor hand.
All right. Be kind of easy with it. Just use your boom out first. Now right there, you're gonna stop. Whoa, whoa. Go back a little bit. This middle one right here, it'll rotate your makeup and breakouts. Okay. So push this one.
Now we'll rotate
this way.
That's right?
Yes, sir. All right.
Now release. 80 more of those just to take it out. We got to go in and out. We got to do this a minimum of 12 times on this well.
You're gonna rack this pipe back over in front of this rock right here. Your derrick man's gonna get it, move it back around. You're gonna push that pipe over there. Watch your toes. Okay. Watch your hand. Come on, watch your hands. Your hand. My hand? Your hand. Here. Watch your hand. Jesus Christ. Go right there. Boom. Circle on the bridge. Right there. No, sideways. Yeah, circle. Hey.
What's crazy is just the slightest time you don't pay attention, somebody can come down on your head, a slip. I mean, being up there in cowboy boots in the mud was ridiculous. These guys work their ass off for their check, that's for sure.
Credit from both handles. Now, step on him, step on him. Like that?
Yeah. There's three main ways you die in this job. First is by explosions that can sometimes result in you getting burned alive. Second is the silent death that visits you when you breathe in toxic hydrogen sulfide gas. And third is from being so exhausted from working that you crash your truck on the long commute home.
What are the true environmental risks of doing something like this?
There's all kinds of environmental risks, man. You've got, you're putting piping into the earth. The earth is an incredible monster. Mother Nature is unforgiving. She's a bitch that can reward you or she can take it all from you.
So I was up there, the guy said he makes about 22 bucks an hour up there. The guys on the floor do about 20 bucks an hour.
Yeah, that's correct.
Does that seem criminally low to you?
Man, well, they actually took a big pay raise when they came with us. These guys been working in South Texas. Work is extremely slow down here. And so these guys get per diem. We cover their food. So they get, 50, 80, 100 bucks a day, every day that they're here just for living expenses. But the secret here is a lot of hours. They get into overtime and then they get time and a half. So their pay is actually pretty solid. Today they've been busting ass. I'm giving everybody out on site a $1,000 bonus. Most companies, they do this very seldomly. Sometimes they give $100 a year, $500 a year. We try to reward our guys thousands of dollars. The cost of living is high. They bust their ass, they deserve it.
Man, first thought coming off the rig, especially when I was up in the sky, was any day that I feel like that I'm complaining or that I'm like, this is a rough day, this is a healthy experience to remember there are so many people around this country that bust their ass day in and day out.
What was your scariest moment?
Once I got on the basket, my muddy boots were slipping around. I wasn't sure if I was harnessed in, and I just thought, what the fuck am I doing up here?
Trying to earn a living, man. Trying to make a dollar.
On the level of kind of a dirty jobs episode, it's exactly what I expected, and that's what I was hoping for, is I want to see tough people working hard to make their living. For some reason in this country, we've gone away from working with your hands, or skilled labor was looked down upon, like an office job is what you're supposed to aspire to. But anyone that works for their hands is kind of a lesser class. And I think, look at our manufacturing going overseas, look at our capabilities as a country right now. We're in a wartime situation where we're running out of munitions quickly, partly because we gave our greatest ally a lot of them, but partly because we don't have manufacturing inside our own country. I think if we want to be a strong, prosperous America, that we have to get back to celebrating the blue-collar worker. I think that's really important to the blood of our country. A little bit of a bumpy flight, but where are we heading to next?
Okay, so we're in Victoria, Texas today. We're just south of Houston, and we're going out to one of our fields that has 13 producing oil and gas wells. So you're gonna get to learn what a pump jack is, how pumps work, how separators work, how water, oil, and gas get separated, how the oil gets picked up, hauled off, and monetized, operating expenses, what can go wrong, and the day-to-day operations of the oil field.
Sounds good to me.
How much did you do in 2025 in business?
In 2025 in business across all platforms, we did over 40 million.
So that's your high on the hog moments. Tell me about the low moments in business.
There's been a lot of low moments. I made my first million in real estate wholesaling. In 2023, I had a real bad spill where I was $4 million in debt, borrowed some money from some friends to buy some equipment to get one of my businesses off the ground, did a ton of work, and had to climb out of the hole. I had 56 bucks in the bank at Christmas, almost $200,000 owed to my staff immediately, and no money coming in because we didn't get paid for doing a bunch of work. And that was the one that I thought we definitely weren't going to recover from, but got good, got in church, and just focused and handled one problem at a time.
So from 1 year being massively in debt, almost on the brink of losing your business, to 2 years later, tens of millions of dollars.
Correct. You just saw was a workover rig. This is the rig that they use to complete the wells. So after we drill it, we need to put pipe and packers and things in it. This is kind of like the repair rig and the completions rig. Anytime a well breaks where you have a hole in your tubing, or you need to change out a pump, or a rod snaps, which we'll go over when we get in the field, this is the type of rig that we use to do that. We own these as well.
So what are we walking up to right here?
All right, this is our production facilities. So this is also known as our tank batteries. This is where we have water, oil, and gas coming from our well out in the field. It pumps. It comes over here. It goes through a separator. It separates. Now, the way that these tanks work is water is the heaviest. It sits on the bottom.
Take me to the tank.
Yeah, let's go take a look. Come on. How's it going?
It's going.
You know this man?
Tommy, nice to meet you.
I
How are
did
you,
after
brother?
last night. My son's introduced me to you.
Oh, nice. Thank you. How long you been in the oil business?
My whole life.
When did you start?
14.
14? How old are you now?
54.
Okay, so what do you do here?
Basically, I keep the lease operating. This one is a little different than your normal average old well or gas well facility. This one's it's more of a plant. They call it a water dry. Okay, so what we do is we make a lot of water. Okay, and what we do is we skim the oil off the top of it and obviously sell the oil and maintain it. But we put the water back down whole. So we're rotating all the product down in the earth, in other words.
First of all, you have the voice of a manly man. I just want to tell you that. And then this water is basically getting recycled, so
Exactly
it can keep
right.
processing the oil
Yes,
over
sir.
and over and over.
Mhm.
What kind of stuff do you have to know to do your job?
First of all, you got to be hard-headed, not take any days off, and learn from everybody that you get around. This is just something that you learn from people over time.
What does a work week look like for you?
I work 7 days a week. A good week looks like 50.
You got a wife?
Yes.
How's your work week going at home?
Fine.
7 days a week is a lot.
Yep.
365?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
So let's talk about this closed loop system, right? I want you to think about the earth for a second. Out here, we've got a blanket of formation that rolls at about 5,400 feet. And in that formation, there's a lot of water. Water is the heaviest, it sits on the bottom, oil floats on top, and gas goes to the cap of it. That's what these big separators do. The water's coming through this, they're separating, oil's flowing over and going to the oil tank, water's going and getting disposed back into the well.
Simply by density, it's settling in its natural state.
Correct. So what we're doing is we are extracting the water, oil, and gas out of one well. We're ripping the oil out of it, and then we're injecting the water back into the same formation through another well. That way we keep the fluid level high. Most of our fresh water is 1,200 feet or shallower in these wells, and we're down, 5,000, 6,000 feet.
It still blows my mind how deep in the earth you gotta go to get this stuff.
I mean, people are gonna watch this video and say, man, 5,000 feet ain't nothing. There's wells 25, 30,000 feet. They just drilled 32, 33,000 feet in Louisiana. So we're gonna go over here, we're gonna take a look at a pump jack, we're gonna get some gas to it, we're gonna fire it up, we're gonna see if we can start pumping some oil over here.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're getting ready to go up on our tank batteries. This is where the oil flows into after it's separated through the separator. And once these tanks get full, then we call in trucks. The trucks come over here, they take an 18-wheeler, they hook up to the bottom of the battery, they take the oil out, and then they take it to the processing plants that's our downstream refineries, and they buy it from us. This is their purchaser. So it's time to climb up this bad boy. All right, so 3 points of contact at all times. Now, this field doesn't have any H2S, but you always gotta be careful of whenever you're opening up these tank batteries, because a lot of times they'll have a lot of gas, but we have sensors that are out here. See the oil in there? So we do what's called strapping. We take this strap right here, we drop it down into the well, and it tells us how many inches of oil are in each of these tanks. So we're able to calculate how much production we're making on the wells every single day. Full. All right, and this right here is our secondary tank, and as you can see, she's full of black gold.
How much will you make off a tank like this?
So right now, it depends on what oil shuts in at for the end of the month. Right now it's about $98 a barrel. So for every barrel, whenever they come, they're gonna take a load, they're gonna take between 155 and 165 barrels. So do 165 basically times 100, between 15 and 16 grand per load. Actually kind of create your own market and hedge right here. think of it as this. If you're extracting a product that sells for $60 a barrel, right, and you can store X amount, you could wait a month and it could go to 100. You still have that product. What you sell it at is market value. So we've been stockpiling it till these things get full. Now oil prices jumped up. So instead of getting $60 a barrel, we're gonna get almost $100 a barrel.
Yes.
Makes a big difference.
How long ago was it that it was $60 a barrel?
Shit, not that long ago, couple weeks.
Couple weeks?
Couple weeks.
And now it's about $100 a barrel.
Correct. It was about 96, 98. And so it matters what we get paid at the end of the month. So the contract for March will be locked in. April gets locked in. It depends on what we get locked in because we have a monthly contract.
How much can each of these barrels hold?
300 barrels.
And how much does 300 barrels go for right now?
Today it's just about $100. So let's call it $100.
Okay, so we're looking at $30,000 each of these barrels, and we have 8 of them up on this platform right here.
Correct.
How long does it take to fill this entirely?
So we'll fill this up in 2 days, 2 to 3 days.
So you could do $30,000 every 2 days off this?
Yes. 150 barrels a day.
Shit.
Just reach in and see. That's the glory hole. Reach in there. Wedding rings made of damn oil.
So this at the top layer is oil.
That is oil. This right here is black gold. That is it. You can come take a look in here. People say that looks like water. That is not water. That is beautiful green oil right here.
Are you gonna go look at a pump jack well?
Let's do it.
Or a ESP?
Yeah, let's look into it. So is this job a pretty solitary occupation?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I love it.
What do you love most about it?
Not having to work around a whole bunch of people, getting to make my own decisions. Seems like when you got too many people around, something always gets fouled up. These are the drive boxes that we're coming up here on the right.
These Smarten drives?
These, yep, All right. These are what we refer to as the ESP.
So what are these doing?
This is where the power actually goes down into the well. It's under the ground, you can't see it, but I can show you when we get to the well itself. See if I can get you, show you what comes up. See, this is what I was explaining. This power comes from that panel over there.
I mean, this is an industry that if someone just got offered the opportunity to manage an oil rig, I think most people would say, I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to begin. This is not an opportunity.
What's the first question you ask before any job?
What do I got to do?
What's the pay?
What do I got to make? Yeah.
What's the pay?
Yeah.
Right? Hey, you want to work on a rig? What's it pay? What do I got to do? How long is it? People feel too entitled. You have a daughter?
Son.
Okay, you have a son, right? What do you want your son to be when he grows up?
Excited about life, working hard at what he loves.
And if he called you and said, Dad, I want to be a roughneck.
Son, you got to go out and be a roughneck.
You would tell him to chase his
If
dreams?
that was his life ambition that he was sold on?
Probably not. You want him to
I would
make...
encourage him if that's what he...
No, you would not use this day one. Honestly, you would not use this as something to push on your
I would
kids.
talk to him about the downside.
You would want him to make as much money as easy as possible with the least amount of work as possible. You want him to be as successful.
I don't know if that's a formula for a happy life. Doing everything as easy as possible for the most amount of money. I think also we're kind of conditioned to think that those jobs don't pay well, but I think the average plumber is making more than the average office person in this economy. The people that do pick that profession, they're gonna have way too many customers and not enough competition, which is a good problem for the plumber, but a bad problem for society. There's certain things, the best way is to experience it yourself.
100%. Oh, that's what we want to drive. We want to drive people that want to come out, they want to experience things, they want to do things.
Beautiful.
All right, Tommy, so check out this oil rig. What do you think?
Looks a little like it's not producing.
Okay, this is not a rig, this is a well. Remember we went over? The rig drills the well. First things first. That being said, guys, this is an electronic submergible pump, or ESP. And some wells have different forms of artificial lift. Some of them have pump jacks. This one in particular has a power cord that goes all the way down and hooks to a pump that spins at high RPMs and moves fluid from the formation up the tubing and into the flow lines that go over to the separator.
You guys want to see what comes out of it?
Hell yeah.
Okay, get
everybody back up. So this is what we're moving right now. Pretty incredible, huh?
That's oil.
And water and gas. And as it levels out, the oil will float on top of the water. You can see it sits in there and there's your oil cut right on top. And you just got to separate the water. And you can feel this. What do you feel? Nice and warm. It's hot. It's from the formation. It's hot down there.
So folks, I think it was really cool. We got to learn about oil, something that runs this world quite literally and that we use in our everyday life we might not give much thought to. We got to go more in depth. We got to see the dirty side of this job, the rough side, but also the entrepreneurial side.
Absolutely.
If you want to check out more of Brent Franklin, both his social media and his company is linked in the description. I had fun on this journey. Had fun getting my hands dirty. Thank you, brother.
Tommy, they don't make them like you anymore, brother.
Yee. See you next week, guys.
Today we touched down in Miami for a masterclass with the man, the myth, the legend, Rick Ross, the boss. In an era when most rappers fall off and go broke in under a year, Rick Ross has had double-decade staying power, transforming his rap cash into a 9-figure business empire spanning restaurant franchises, automotive products, alcohol, and even his own record label. You'll see inside his multi-million-dollar car and jet collection, hear his business philosophy, and experience what it's like to cruise around the streets of Miami like a boss. So without further ado, let's meet the man and get inside the business empire of Rick Ross. But first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's episode. Folks, I want everyone watching this to be financially free one day, and the sponsor of today's video can help you with that. And pay attention, because in a few seconds, I'm gonna be telling you about a $200 offer you are eligible for. Because the truth is, our banking system sucks. Most banks drown people in fees and offer ridiculously low yield rates on the money that we give to them. That's where Chime comes in. They offer 3.75% APY, which is 9 times the national average. They have no monthly fees, no overdraft fees, no minimum balance fees. Folks, your funds are FDIC insured. Chime has over 1 million 5-star reviews, and they are America's #1 choice for banking. Guys, 82% of Americans do not have a high yield savings account, and almost no one is getting 5% cash back on the things they buy every day. That is a lot of money that we are leaving on the table, and Chime is the solution to get started on a better path for finances. This is something that a lot of people I know could benefit from. So upgrade today. Go to chime.com/TommyG and get your $200 bonus and start banking smarter. Use this QR code to take advantage of the $200 offer, or go to chime.com/TommyG. And this link will also be at the top of the description box. Thank you, folks, and now back to the video. All right, folks, we are in Florida, and your boy needs sunscreen. I don't got enough melanin in my body, but we're kind of in like a little trench, the meth area, but we got some kid sunscreen I found at Dollar General. But guys, we are in for an absolute treat today. Have you ever wanted to feel like a boss? I mean like a big time boss. We're gonna meet with none other than Rick Ross, Rose. And we're in for a treat. This guy is just oozing motivation and hustle out of his body. And I want some of that. I want to soak it in. I mean, I think with all that's going on in the world, positive, can-do energy, beautiful. And so I'm excited. I think more and more on the channel, we want to focus on the moguls, the people that have built empires, and just the one-of-one characters that exist. The world is flooded with really cool and interesting people, and that's what I love about my job, is I get to wake up and talk to people and I'm like, holy shit, I can't even believe I'm in the same room asking this guy questions, and that's the cool human experience. So we're on our way to a private jet hangar where Ross the boss himself will be meeting us. We'll see you when we get there. All right, folks, we found the hangar. We're here with luxury vehicles, alcohol collection that I hear is bulletproof, and right behind us over here, we have the Rick Ross jet. The man himself is about to show up to the building. When he gets here, it's time to get rolling. What's happening, brother? My name's Tommy. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure mine.
How are you?
Too easy.
You're a man that likes collecting the finer things in life, right?
Facts.
I brought Milwaukee's finest for you. Just a little something to show our appreciation for you.
Let me see it. Let me see it, because if it's the finest, it has to be the finest.
Here, you want to unbox it?
Diamante.
Diamante. Hey, this guy made this for your face in particular. Gold, diamond cut. Damn, you look good.
Shout out to Diamante. Those are actually going to make it in my closet, man.
Hell yeah. So I'm going to harness my inner Rick Ross today, so I'm going to get a little something going myself, okay?
Too easy.
Can you give me a little tour of what we're walking through right now?
This is the Rick Ross Clubhouse. That's what it somewhat is.
So when people look at Rick Ross, they see all these cars, they see your empire, they see the businesses. But there's once upon a time, you weren't Rick Ross, you were Windex William. Tell me who Windex William is.
I began washing cars at early as 13. And it was something that I loved to do because I love cars that much. The more I could be around the car, I was like, yo, they gonna pay me and tip me for this? Yo, this crazy. And I'm getting to sit in a car that, damn, I would do anything just to look at. So it's like it was a win-win for me.
One thing I read from your book, Hurricane, is that when you were wiping down these cars, the hustlers requested you. What did you learn from the hustlers? What about their mindset? What about their mentality did you take away from these hustlers that you got to meet?
I understood that at an early age. I understood the power of $1. I saw what hustlers could do with a $10 tip. So if you was getting your car washed and you was tipping whoever was washing the car $10 to $15, everybody stopped what they was doing to wash your car. And I knew at a young age I wanted to be a big tipper. I want to pull up and they stop what they're doing and take care of Rose. I understood the science of mathematics.
I want to talk about your portfolio. Can we walk over here and you tell me your alcohol portion of your portfolio?
I began understanding branding as soon as I got in the game. I understood, once again, the science of mathematics because I was standing in the club already. I'm in the club. The bottles are next to me. I'm doing this 5 nights a week. Why don't I create a relationship with the bottles that's next to me? I'm already standing next to them for free.
Can you break down a little bit of, okay, so when you get into these deals, are you looking for equity? Are you looking for the exit? Are you looking for the cash flow?
Every deal is different. Some things you could see the long-term vision on. Some you may not. Some things you may want to, let's keep this to a 3-year situation and we'll come back in 3 years and rediscuss what's going on if it's good for both of us. But some of them you see right out the gate.
You're a money-making factory, but I read recently that you walked away from a 7-figure cigarette deal. So you don't take all money that comes your way. What's your criteria?
For me to be great at what I do, it's got to be something that I really admire, something that I really love. I'm not just going to rep Luke Belaire when I'm in the club. No, everywhere it's a part of my lifestyle. That's something that I really love. That's something that I really enjoy, so it's fun for me. But if you try to hand me a Newport or a Marlboro, that'll fuck up my energy and my vibe. I don't want that. Now, do I smoke? Of course I smoke nice herbal flowers, but I don't smoke squares.
Was it hard to walk away when you're looking at that much money on the table?
Nah, not if I know I'm not gonna do it wholeheartedly.
You have 20 plus years in the game. You have longevity, which is rare right now. I think especially right now in rap, you hear about these guys, they pop up big for about a year, year and a half, and then they start to fade away. What are the biggest mistakes rappers are making when it comes to money and when it comes to having longevity right now?
You want to stack your paper so you can understand your possibilities. Let them stack for a year, and at the end of the year, now look at your possibilities of the next move you can make. Instead of going to get a quick watch and a quick thick chain and some Dior sweaters, let that shit set up. And at the end of the year, you could go get a 5-bedroom with a swimming pool. And then on top of that, just make it an Airbnb. Shit, put your cousin in one room. Let them know you handle the lights. You know, I'm just a hustler. I'm gonna find a way to do something.
So, because the average rapper I know that signed a deal in the last couple of years, immediately they're going to get teeth, they're going to get jewelry, and they spend a good chunk of their advance. They don't even know that they have taxes on the back and they have to take care of. And by the time they're done spending on random bullshit, they're almost broke again.
That's how it goes. And that's one thing that I was fortunate to learn in the streets before I got in the rap game. I had the experience of making a little bit of paper and losing it. Oh, in the streets, that's what you do. You go to a dice game, you come in with $800, you leave with nothing. Oh, you gotta experience that. And you tell yourself, I'll never go broke again, I'll never go broke again. But you go broke again, and you do it again. And that's when you begin to learn to respect the power of $1. I didn't buy nothing. I just went and ran it all the way up, stacked it in a shoebox. Let's see what it looked like at the end of the year. Now let's see what we could go play with.
You run car shows, you're a car collector. Tell me about what we're looking over here and how it plays a part in your life.
Okay, so, you know, this being my hangar, this a few of my favorite toys. I'm up with 200 cars in my collection. And these right here, just this, you know, they different vibes. That's 57 Renzel. That's a Bel Air 1957. I spent more than 5 years building that. I have more than $500,000 in that car.
In that one car?
Facts. The one next to it is a 57 station wagon that only drives off airplane fuel. The one next to it is a 69 Camaro I've never even sat in. The one next to it with the big blower, that's a 73 Caprice. You know, that's arguably the most sought after donk. This is a 96 Impala. This is a dope boy favorite. This has 2,200 miles on it. And then when I was graduating in high school, Suburbans and 1500s, I never sat in these either. I have a 1971 that's gonna complete this trifecta.
You're not just a collector, you also run a show.
I do. The Rick Ross Car Show. This will be the June 13th will be the 5th annual Rick Ross Car Show. And it just started as conversation with me, 57 Freddie. Here we are, 5th year.
All these are 25 million plus records you've sold.
The number is multiplied since then, but most definitely, these are all releases that was released with my partnership.
The biggest driver of Ross's fortune is his label Maybach Music Group because he doesn't just make music, he owns the music. While the average signed rapper gets just a fraction of their record sales, Ross in his typical entrepreneurial fashion decided to create his own label. In fact, between his solo records, selling features, and touring the world, it's rumored that he's generated himself around $90 million. And when you add in the superstar rappers signed to Maybach Music Group like Meek Mill, French Montana, and Wale, you could estimate that altogether MMG has sold between 65 and 80 million records. So of Ross's portfolio, it's likely that just music alone has made him well into the 9 figures.
If you were to sign another rapper now, what are you looking for?
You know, an artist with a very distinct, unique gift, flow, tone, you know, and just somebody that has that burning desire to succeed. That means more to me than anything. You can't let me out hustle you. If I'm out working you, you don't even have a chance. Just go quit.
He's creating his own world. Like, can you imagine if you just wanted to do everything you want to do? Your name's on the jet. You're doing business deals while you're puffing a joint. You got your Rolls Royce being washed outside. And that's the power I think we do all have. There is an amount of luck. There is an amount of being born in the right circumstances or having destiny match up with you. But I really do think with enough hard work and years of dedication, you can create a lifestyle that it's your own heaven on earth in a way. And yeah, you still have troubles and issues, but you want to have a life where you wake up and you are excited to hit the ground every single day. That's just how you want to operate. And he's doing that, and I think that's really inspiring. I call my wife Sweet Cheeks. Sounds like you got a Sweet Cheeks as well?
Oh man, you gotta have a Sweet Cheeks.
They're key to the operation.
That's beautiful right there. See, that's what Slippery Soap does. Look at that. Not to mention that's the Mansory edition. It only run you 800,000.
Only a little light 800,000?
Yeah, light 800.
Is it ever hard to make a big purchase like that? Towards the beginning, when you first started doing it?
Oh, without a doubt. You gotta move with timing.
When I first started dating my wife, I wasn't making that much money. So when we go to a restaurant and she'd order 2 appetizers, I was like, oh no. Like I started thinking about the bill. She taught me how to enjoy life a little bit more. But now I feel a little bit more.
Not the 2 appetizers.
but you have to sacrifice at the beginning and aggressively save. Just like you said, you sat on your money. The first deal you did,
Facts.
You sat on it.
Facts.
I didn't try and spend anything crazy. I still don't. I want to be in a position of untouchable money until I get there.
That's most definitely the goal, and it's a blueprint that you have to follow to get there.
Let's head to AutoZone.
Picture. Let's go
I hear we got to stop there. Ross, from what I understand, you got some secret weapons on your team. Tell me about your sister.
I don't believe she's no longer a secret. I think they know. When it comes to the Empire, Maybach Music Group, and everything that falls under that umbrella, upwards and over 30 plus partnerships, my mother created the blueprint, and my sister most definitely is at the top of that, making sure everything moves the way it should.
What kind of responsibilities do your mom and sister handle for the business?
Oh, everything for me. It's just like the mob, baby. It's just like the mob.
What gets you up in the morning? What gets you excited right now? What's the thing that you're motivated by right now?
Oh man, look at us. We riding through Carol City in a Rolls Royce. That was always the plan. A lot of my homies didn't live to get to see it. A lot of them in the penitentiary will never come home. But this was always the plan. Regardless of how we made it there, that was always the plan. This is my high school right here, Miami, Carol City. It's Chief Nation. This shit where it go down, baby. This is Carol City.
That's where you used to play football.
Black and orange, better believe it.
Looks like a great school.
No, this is a new one. This ain't the one they had Rosé in. Look at Popeyes. We had a Popeyes right behind our high school. How could you not love chicken? That's what made me invest in the Wingstop.
When Rick Ross says he loves chicken, he puts his money where his mouth is. He's a fiend for lemon pepper wings, and he's turned that passion into dozens of Wingstop franchises. Now, it's uncertain how many total locations he has or how much each location makes, but if we use conservative estimates from the interviews he's done, we can guess that he owns at least 25 Wingstops, and in total that these probably generate between $5 and $7 million a year in profit. And you can bet that in this business, Ross gets high off his own supply.
Know how this shit move. This shit a train, and the train don't stop for nothing.
Choo choo, baby.
You better f***ing believe it.
Are you, sir?
Wonderful.
That's good.
You already know.
Your
products is up right
Man, much love, appreciate it.
So tell us about this move in your portfolio.
Okay, so this was something that was really, to me, like super cool. It goes back to us when we were washing cars right up the street. Look, those same cars, the 57 Bel Airs.
The Dunks.
The Dunks. The
Florida Dunks.
Yeah, the palm trees in the background.
So this is a full circle moment. You went from
without a doubt.
washing the cars as a young kid to now you own the product that washes the cars.
An amazing partnership with Jeremy Lewis. Shout out to him. He had the product and, you know, he was taking care of my cars, and I just said, man, I believe in it. I think we could take this somewhere else. And so
I think a key part of this game is ownership. The way you make money is not being compensated for your time so much, but for owning equity parts of a company. Talk to me about this.
A beginning is a beginning. You got to start somewhere, and that's cool. But having equity, you most definitely want to get to the core of the situation. What's happening, baby? What's happening, baby?
Yeah, because I think anyone that wants to chase true wealth, whether it's owning a home health care, owning a daycare, owning a car wash line.
Right. Owning anything.
I just made an investment recently. I got like a 3% share in a mental health company out in Arizona that's hopefully gonna help a lot of people and gonna print. So it's two things that go hand in hand very well.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And for a lot of people that may not understand, 3% is a nice percentile. No, that could potentially be millions upon millions upon millions upon millions, and we speaking of 3%. And that depends on, once again, what you're talking about.
Should we head to Checkers?
Why not? It's the biggest bezel, baby. One of these tire shine, a ceramic spray wax, a quick detailer.
You're really stocking up.
A wheel cleaner, and the neutral, yeah, where we could do this at. Shout out to AutoZone once again, an amazing partnership. We hearing this vibe, and so when I come in different AutoZones, I walk around and just look for different things. I always find something new that I never knew they carried. That Rick Ross Car Show, June 13th. What's up, baby?
How you doing,
Much
sir?
love, Big Eddie.
Yes.
Much love.
Well, I remember you since high school.
Did you?
Yes, sir.
You went to Carol City?
Yes, sir.
Carol City Chiefs in this motherfucker. You already know what it is, baby. You already know.
But by the time you finally got your product in the store.
Y'all see me right here in Carol City at AutoZone. Hello. 2 bosses, 2 shot callers.
That's it.
You already know what it is. Slippery soap. The Boss Gloves.
Ross, can you give the people some motivation today?
You only live once, baby. This bitch start with life and end with death. When is that day? Who knows? We don't know. Will you be prepared?
The older you get, you think more about death?
No, the reality, it becomes more, realistic every day.
You seem like a guy that almost never gets nervous.
You might be right.
That's your aura, at least.
You might be right.
Because a lot of people are plagued by anxiety. They're plagued by not having confidence.
I don't take medication. I was having this conversation with one of my, and they like, homie, you got all these businesses and you don't take no anxiety medications? No, I don't. It's a beautiful thing. Me purchasing this Checkers was The very first one. So after our football games as a football team on Friday nights, we all would go back to the high school, turn in our football, our game equipment, the jerseys, etc. Then we all came to Checkers because that's what we could afford. But beginning with my first Checkers, it wasn't even about the numbers, the demographics. No, I grew up right here. I know what this means. This is going to be valuable to me for different reasons.
You want to say hi to your people?
Of course, we're going to go say what's up. Carrot City in this thing, you know what it is?
Carrot City as well.
You better believe it, baby.
The Big Buford, did you name that?
No, I named one of my trucks after that. I'm finna get a spicy chicken sandwich combo and a Big Buford for no reason. And so that's where we hung it. We all pulled our cars right there. Boom, 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 boom.
Do you know if someone wants to get into a franchise like this, do you know how much they should be saving up? Is it 200, 500? Is there an estimate of what someone should be looking to save to get one of these?
Oh man, anywhere from 3 to 500K.
I think a lot of people, when it comes to making their first few investments, they can get worried. They feel like they don't have enough money to do it, but even saving $50 a week adds up over a year. And then you start to amplify that because one rental property steamrolls into 2, which turns into 4, 8, and then all of a sudden you gotta...
That's most definitely the perfect situation. But you most definitely gotta have your foot on the gas.
And what are you willing to sacrifice for a little bit?
It was most definitely a time where I couldn't do that. You know, enjoy all the nice restaurants and all that shit. It was a time where you couldn't do that. You had to just stick to whatever the plan was and execute whatever the plan was. When it comes to multiplying any business, you kick the door in, you see what the potentials are, you get better at what you do, and it's all about team, like I said, and you keep going.
Right now you're at a stage where you don't really need, like you are the money in a lot of ways. But if someone were to say, Rick Ross, I think Milwaukee would be a great location for a Wingstop. I'll put up some of the capital, you have your team run it. Would that be something that you would even consider?
Just naturally off the top, no.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know you're a good partner?
Mm-hmm.
That's a gamble I'm taking right off the rip. For 2, I don't need the finances.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that myself. So now I'm already shaking the dice of, are you gonna deliver whatever your end of the bargain is? Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times, unfortunately in business, everybody don't.
Is there anything still on your list this year you wanna close out to add a new partnership to the table?
Yes, it is. We actually close to closing the deal. I have a dentist office. I have a partnership with a dentistry.
That's a lucrative one.
A very lucrative.
I think what you open the doors for people is the belief that anything can happen.
And it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I let them know. I graduated from school right here. This still an empire. This still what mean the most to me. It's just like music. My city, music, everything after that fall in place.
And the cool thing is it only takes one thing to change your life. For you, it was Every Day I'm Hustling.
One thing.
How did your life change once you dropped that song?
Once I dropped that song, it was a global smash. And like I said, I just focused on that song, executing, performing, and writing new records for a whole year. I never went and bought a car. I just made sure I wouldn't miss one show. I wanted promoters to know this dude right here is about his business. He not gonna be late. He not gonna come drunk. He not gonna fuck up the party. No, we gonna party even longer. You paid me for 30 minutes, but I stayed 50 minutes. I'm gonna show you that love. And once that began to get around, they understood Rick Ross was here to stay.
How many years were you rapping for before Every Day I'm Hustling came out?
Maybe 10 years.
Did you almost give up or decide to call?
Of course, you wanna quit a lot of different times.
I think that's the hope everyone should keep back home is whatever it is that you're cooking up, just know that it could be the next song, the next deal, the next video. For me, it was a Kia Boy video I covered in my home city of Milwaukee. That video changed my life. And ever since then, I've been hustling on the road, putting something out week after week to try and entertain and educate. It just takes one of those things to change your life.
Just one, only one.
All right, the boss is handling some business. We're gonna meet him at the next stop. That's the crispy French fries. So one thing I've learned about Ross is he is very good at protecting his energy. The next stop is about 30 minutes away. He had me get out, ride with my guys, and I like that because I've been on shoots where I'm rolling for 10 hours, and by the end of it, I can barely think of a question. I'm on E, I'm not feeling great. But the way you work with Ross, you get him fresh every time because he knows how to dip in, dip out, dip in, dip out. So just learning stuff from him. Pretty cool experience to work with a guy like this. There is definitely something about the principle momentum in life, because if you're a guy that's broke, you have no followers, and you're posting up and doing a story about AutoZone, no one gives a shit. But when you've built the social capital of Rick Ross, suddenly people even care about soap. Ross is a guy that's an amazing marketer. He's always looking for the little opportunities to market different parts of his portfolio. And I think he's at a high level of business too, where he's not the guy that knows about the dollars and cents and the exact percentages every year of yields. He's a big picture player. What are you sipping on right now?
Oh, this is, yeah, that Rick Ross beer. You know, I got the THC vibe coming, you know what I mean? The lagers, the vibe. You want one?
I'll try. I'd love to try one.
Why not?
I heard you also got a Pilsner.
Oh, well, of course. Which one you want? Renzo, check out my guy right here. Which one you want to try?
Hey, brother. Tommy.
And this is Rick Ross's own beer, his lager. And it was done by a famous artist, this guy Marcus. And he did everything that reminds you of the man.
How did you guys meet?
We met through a friend of mine.
And you run the brewing, like the production and stuff like that?
I'm a consumer. I just own the brand. Something missing in the beer industry, such as a lunch beer.
That is nice.
And then we're doing THC seltzers, just everything. Just here's our.
Ooh, how many milligrams?
High tide and slack tide.
Okay, 5 milligrams is a good number.
5 milligrams is when you're ready just to relax after you put the kids away. If you're a housewife or a father and you just want to watch TV and go to sleep. But going back to the partnership, he's incredible, and I've worked with a lot of different people in my life, and the great thing about him, he does it because he wants to do it. To actually love the brand and promote it is the best, I guess, partnership you could have, and I'm glad he loves it. And I know a lot of people that work with celebrities and they don't do 1/10 of what this man does.
He's a big marketer. I know everything he does, he knows when to plug, he knows how to market it.
And not only does he know when to plug, but it's funny. It's organic content, which I love, and which people know. They can tell when something's fake and when it's real, and his is all real.
Ross, one thing I've observed about you is you're very good at protecting your energy. You know when to come in, come out, when to pause for a second. Can you talk to me about that?
That's just something that's natural to me. It's nothing that I put thought into. I do look at myself as the one that pretty much controls the conversation.
And do you feel like you always had that attitude of I'm the boss in the room, even when you were not yet quite officially the boss?
I did. You know, I was a young kid, I was a big kid, I was a playful kid, I was an athletic kid. You know, I made all city playing football. I played 3 different sports at one time. I wrestled.
You wrestled?
Yeah, I played center and I did track and field. So shot put was my thing. So,
what weight did you wrestle at?
A heavyweight. It wasn't no limit.
Did you have a go-to move?
I had one move that's all I cared about.
Headlock?
No.
Hip toss?
No.
Body lock?
I'll show you what it is. Mm-hmm. So it was basically, once we locked up, this all I wanted.
Knee pick.
That's it.
Yeah.
Boom. Once I get on top of you, then I'm gonna let my Hulk
Heavyweights
Hogan,
are cooked once they're on top.
The inner weight Hulk Hogan do you in. There's
okay, so a bull rush, knee
peg. Even if you work your way out of that, the energy that's gonna take from you, it's gonna be, it's gonna be a rough day.
Me personally, I bet on wrestlers. I wrestled since I was 10, I wrestled through college. That to me, if I find a wrestler in any job, that's who I'm betting on.
You know something I'm a fan of that a lot of people wouldn't even believe? Sumo wrestling. It's when I always go to Dubai, I make sure that the room that I suite I have it on sumo. They have sumo wrestling all day. And I love to just see those big low. It's all about staying in that circle. So, and once again, it's competitive. I want to see how far somebody willing to go to accomplish whatever they're accomplishing.
You're launching a tour.
Oh, I love it.
Tell me about your tour.
Listen, this tour is going to be one of one for me. I'm celebrating 20 years That's 20 summers of my debut album, Port of Miami, as well as other timeless records that I'll be performing live. This track list that I've put together, I have never put together and performed these records under the same roof. Now imagine me tuxedoed out, heavy diamonds. I have an amazing choir,
orchestra,
amazing orchestra, without a doubt. And Ricky Rose, 20 plus years of timeless hit records. It has never been done. Everybody need to get their tickets now.
Folks, Rick Ross is going on tour and he's likely stopping at a city near you. He's bringing out an orchestra, his greatest hits, and a chance to dress up in a suit and feel like a boss. The link to his Port of Miami tour is in my description, so make sure you get yours while tickets are still available.
And how do people gotta dress for this?
Oh, formal. This is most definitely.
Like black tie.
Oh man, this, you on your A game. Without a doubt, this is A game attire. Your girl should be in her favorite gown. If it's not new, it's her favorite. Fellas, you already know what it is. Heavy steam, heavy ice.
Ross, you're an inspiration. I'm rooting for you. I hope your tour goes well, and thank you for motivating people all around the world. Man, it's been a pleasure, brother.
This is one of the best days I've spent with someone, man. You're a cool guy, and I look forward to us staying in touch, and let's keep going, man. Let's keep going up.
Let's do it. All right, folks, that's a wrap. Rick Ross, that's a bucket list guy to do a profile piece on, and I want to do more of these. I want to do with the exciting people, whether they're moguls, entertainers, or just personalities. I think of Kevin Gates, Sexy Red, I think of Moneybagg Yo, I think of 50 Cent, I think of Mark Cuban, Mark Wahlberg. I just want to cover interesting, fascinating people, making it happen, and let this be inspiration, guys. If you could be a little fat kid from Miami that becomes Rick Ross the boss, you could be someone like me. I came the whitest suburbs, and now I'm covering some of the most dangerous, interesting shit on the planet. It doesn't matter where you start, it matters what you do with your journey, the cards you play, and how you operate. And anyone can be the next thing and have a life that you're passionate about, which is the most important thing of all. That's the purpose, that's meaning, that's the mission. So, thank you guys. See you next week.